thank you very much.
おい、来た。
Ian Chambers, and welcome to the EUL studio. To join, unfortunately, those two they will be bickering eternally. I am
いえいえ、マンシージこちらも見てくださってありがとうございます。みんな希望を感じたようで。
Hello, and yeah, they really are a married couple.
Oh, it's both adorable and
あれこれ予想あと何分？
frustrating to sit in the room with them.
まだ数分あるよみんな。
Prodding and poking them to sort of set them off at each other. In which case, it is a lot of fun.
国境ハングリーインパーツ集めて揃った。さあ。楽しみだね。グルビー大丈夫か？グルビートイレおしょんしょんタイム見てるんだ。あ、おい、もう冷めるじゃねえかよ、エースズ。なんでカメラを振ってんだよ、バカタレが。お前のウォシュレットの部屋見せてくれよ。湿気ムンムンの部屋を。やっぱ今日1試合目なんでハングリーの家朝だ。全くスキルない自分からするとあのクオリティ1にかからずすぎる。いや、そんなことはないよ。マンシージはもうフォーマット決まってるからね。先週がね、ちょっと大変だったんだよ。全リーグの情報を一気に来て久しぶりに作ったからもうめっちゃ時間かかると思ったんだけど、先週フォーマット作れたから今週は楽だ。本当はもうちょっと演出入れたいんだけど。湿気で壊れたか。ハングリーの家いいよね、この部屋。天窓が素敵。ここでは寝れないよな。この天窓ってさ、どう考えてもカーテンみたいなのないよね。なんでワイルドをサンドボックスで集めてるの？大丈夫、モンターニュ残ってるから。おお、五分だね、ほぼ。56、44。あ、これ誤差の範囲じゃない。あれなんかさ、俺の賭けもめちゃくちゃ五分になってきてる。みんながどっちにかけてるのかこれ見れるやっぱ面白いね。これワニポジ仕掛けてるでしょ。ハングリーがキャッスル。無難なピックしてんな。
I got 3 commendations for the game, no? Because believe it or not, I will stop fragging. It's insane. I don't believe it.
All right, who will get?
ゲーム音ちっちゃくない？こんなもん。あ、これ感染か、あれか、俯瞰だからか。お、来た、シークレットかけた。お、シークレット逆転。俺もね、あ、今かけようたから言えるけど、若干シークレットだと思ってるんだよ。チームのバランスはシークレットの方がいいと思う。真面目な話。これガチトークね。なんかグルービーのところでさ、変化つけられるからさ、なんかいまいちワイルドはやっぱね、バランス悪いんだよな。わあ、でも下から見てた、素晴らしい。最近さ、下から見るの主流だよね。ナチクさんこんばんいらっしゃい。ワイルドエンタミスト分かる。
As the Orcs is jumping back up, Savage just delayed and actually checking that.
そのうちでもトロールばっかしたウサイン・ボルトがダッシュしてハングリーの家突っ込んでくるかもしれない。ハングリー、テブ、パックブルが無双します。いつもキル取らない3人に見えるけど、まあでもテブは調子いいと思うよ、純粋に。ああ、買い打ちなんだ。あれ？ああ、伏せてる。あ、でもロジックボムだったな。いいロジックボム。何それ？何それエースズ？エースの幻惑クイックピーク。クソ幻惑してた。ちょっとそこ行っていいの？うわー、広がったんだエースズ。なるほどね。今なんでジェグズそんなとこ行ったんだろうと思ったら、ジェグズが今ヘイト集めてエースの存在消したかった。アプローチ消したかったんだ。デンプシーロール。最近のピングはセキュリティを取るおじさん。あ、国境？
to just pop up and oh no, runs out of bullets. Can't get the second.
あれ
Does get the
ああ、で
down.
もさすがに一人いいんじゃん
More
か。
than enough to cover the end of the round. Wild.
今日でもピョン君来てくれて
Open up
国
with the first.
境が最近は
SMG
防衛マッ
doesn't
プだから
really
って言
carry
っ
a
て
big
たからな。
magazine, so
まあまあまあ。
ran out of bullets to the second person out there.
日本とかでもね。
And Wylde indeed, as they managed to get the first quite cleanly, you have to say, they were able to slip away from the grasps of Secret for the majority of that round. I was also going to be mentioning that Wylde will be looking to get 3, maybe even 4 rounds on the
で
defense
も
right
プロ
here.
リーグずっと見るよりは俺は普通にエイム練習とかキャラコン練習した方が次のステージ行くのが早いと思うよ。ランクガチな話すると。なんか知識ってある以上なんか吸収したらそれ以上はない。それよりむしろなんか体これで出すとここ半身見えてるなとかっていう知識を増やしていった方がいいと思う。
when they're going over to the attack. And
ペングの国境実況一生セキュリティ取れセキュリティ取らないからそうなるってうっさい。まあでもセキュリティ取るのは基本中の基本だからな。取ると見せかけて何かするとかはあると思う。いやまあやられて覚える精神というかなんだろうな。操作感覚を体に覚えさせるって感じかな。あんなところ上がんのかドローン初めて。いやなんか最近俺それを痛感するんだよな FPS。特にキルカメ見るとさ自分が思っていた以上にも相手から体見えてるところってあるじゃん。あれはなんかもっとプレイしてこの距離までピークしたらダメなんだなみたいなのはまあ別にさアンランクとかクイックマッチでもちろんいいんだけど極論テロハントでもいいんだよ。ことごろさんこんばんやし俺もそれやりたいんだけどさマジでそれめっちゃ時間かかるっていうかほぼ練習だからさつまんねえ練習のプロに入るからさそもそもシージ触る時間もねえのにできないんだよな。
There was also some other things that were thrown into this that I was discussing with Sprabuni before, based on the fact that the ITB versus Wylde game had that one round replayed, which actually changed it so an 8-6 would have been.
グリム来ましたよグリム。
Sprabuni maths.
ハードブリーチャーがさグリムしかいないんだけど。
Miracle taking quite some damage there as he drops down the east staircase. So Jags is very eager to be taking a fight out here as the castle barricades are being opened up slightly.
これどこあんの
See which FNATs have been activated to stop Secret from moving in cleanly, and that's going to be making it so.
いやセキュリティ取れないね。ペングおじきが怒るぞおい。
Does he know how close he is to find a head out here?
いやそれ一人で入り口で3人ピークしてる。あよくそれは突破したな。あーなるほどね。このカバー配分うまいね。これ何やってるかというと味方のカバーが噴水から酔えないようにカバー配分してるわ。まあテロハント自体しかそのエイム調整レイム練習するモードがなかったから PL 見て強くなる俺はもうでもねプロの試合見て強くなるのは事実あると思う。でもある一定数までだと俺は思う。よくそれ小部屋の車線無視できたな。いや結局どっちもやった方がいいよ。なんか自分なりのなんか練習方法を見つけた方がいいと思うけど俺でもね射撃練習は結構自分としてはウォーミングアップかなって思ってる。ショットガン強え。ああグルビーも抜かないと死んじゃうそれ。今日なんか真面目にやってるぞワイルドが。ごめんいつもの癖で早押しボタン早送りボタン押しちゃった。あまあフルパでやるのがいいと思う。まあ、フルパじゃなくてもフレンドでもいいと思うけど。ああまあでもツイスターここ早めに取るのはさすがだね。いや俺も取った方がいいんじゃないかなっていう立ち上がりだった。フォールズのカメラこれ何が載ってんの？ウサギの耳？
And the secret timeout. I you know, it's entirely becoming a bit blinkered. It's twice we've sort of seen them try and throw themselves into an engagement there. And, you know, you can see Twister having a lot of words at the back line of the team, trying to get them back on it, make them pay attention to the game that Wild's playing.
フルポシージ毎日できてるのっていいじゃん。
And can
俺はあくまでソロで登り詰めて
they
る
can
つも
play
りだ
very
から。
quick siege as well, but their sort of main point is
ワイルドエンタメないっすね
changing
今。
up the thoughtfulness
ファン
of
差
the
が
game,
ないっ
making
す。
great takes. In this situation, they've been able to do great
あとなんで
reactive
サベージだけ後ろの壁紙違うんだろう。
retakes
シークレットちゃんとあ
of
るの。
territory, of ground. The opening catch against Groovy in the first round, towards that, just the swing around the back of CC. I mean, it is that
ハン
sort
グリーは
of
通常運転だよ。だってキル回ってこないもん。その
secret to have to find a way to
そ
keep their
の
heads
証
free.
拠に1ですしかしないからね。
Again, beautiful
ハングリーは
shot
そう
from
いう位
Ted.
置じゃないから。
And as he wanted to rotate out, or actually went for a quick run outwards to see
ここのハングリーはしょうがないんだ。
window.
これはね、でもガチでグルービーね、こっちのさ、爆弾側の車線が気になるじゃん。特に小部屋工事して車線通してたからさ。
He gets stuck as
あ
soon
れ
as
無
he
視
moves
でき
back
るの
in,
さ
as
す
soon
がだ
as
なと思うけ
everybody
ど。
just aimed at his position. Back to the mirror window as well. As soon as that got knocked, if you're not moving, you're just gonna have pre-fired at that point. So it was a good attempt.
デスすることにとって情報を取る
Finding
こと
those
も
two
できる
kills well, but besides
い
that,
やでもこ
we're
こ
unable
踏ん
to
張りどころだ
actually
ね、シークレッ
prevent it.
ト。タイムアウトも取っちゃったし。2ラウンドでタイムアウト取るのはまあ正直取りたくはなかっただろうけど。
If it's clean, whoever
いい
is,
タイムアウトだ
you
と
know,
も
wants
う
to
こ
put
の
it
タイミングで
goes
取っと
into
かない
the side
と
of playoffs
1マップ
doesn't
で
guarantee you a seat.
私有が決まる戦いだから
At least two games to play before that point, but then it
ここは
does
ガ
at
チで
least
そう
get you
思うわ。
into the LCQs, which if you otherwise lose this game, you've got to play through the open to get a seat at that table. Then there's SI points that come
ハン
from
グ
this
リ
as
ーなんで
well.
こんな
That's
大ダ
one
メ
of
ージ
those
起きて
big
る
cost things.
おい誰か
We
見た
have
か
two games like this today. The
誰か
next
見た
one
か
is
ハングリーが何かしたの
immediately after.
なんでこんな大ダメ
There
ージ
goes
出てる
Savage, immediately removed after the timeout.
あらららエースが止まんなくなってき
But
たぞ
if we find
しかも
a team
サベージ落ちてん
scoring
じゃん
for points at this
絶
point,
望
a dream of XI, whoever loses this is so much further away. At least another 10 games buffer or something.
It's definitely going to be a rough time. Tab again, basically taking
Nani
out
Robbie
the
game?
same position he was in last time. The C4 will find
Ooh,
the
ace
counter
is-
falls. Those Jags needs to rotate out quickly. A grenade was about to be tossed over the top. I
Backcourtに
believe.
撃たれた。
Ubers put it back in pocket after that C4 almost took him out as
大丈夫だ
well.
ぞこれ
And even
ハングリーが大ダメージ受けてるから
Great start.
シークレット
Again, find themselves
3v3 みたい
with
なもんだぞ
advantage not shortly after. And Uber being very low on HP as well.
いや
so
なんかシークレットマジでパ
clean
ッ
out a
とし
great
ないんだよ
start to this
ね
round
バラン
right
スはいい
after
ん
the
だけど
tactical
正
timeout.
直
But your castle barricades have got to be looking
Yeah,
them up now. If Uber wants to
Silma.
go and open, it actually puts
Silma
himself in
Ama
danger
Panda
of
壊せない
Jax just instantly replying. And
ピークう
as he
ま
grabs the grenade,
あー
might
今
actually
フラグ
open
ちぎっ
up.
た
No,
音聞こえ
didn't
ちゃっ
do
たの
that
か
either. So there's going to be that shut down as well.
あれ
Miracle
大丈夫だよ
trying to get some
大丈
cover
夫
around on the
ハングリーさん
side.
数に入ってないから
Yes, they're reclaiming
ハングリーさんは数に入ってないから大丈夫だ
two
ぞ
players. There's one down right underneath. Miracle, they're well aware of the game that
お
you're
っとハングリー
playing.
さん当ててくるじゃないか
Tucks the rotate back round towards 90.
でもハングリーさんのダメージ
Wylde's
警備
trying to make motions. Groovy hope to catch and bait. There's the spray.
いやー手前にいたこれはジェグズがうまい
Fired over the top of one. You fully understand what he was doing there, but unfortunately, so does Wylde. Another C4, another huge explosion, a catch on the player here after that team timeout. Secret have just found themselves once again battered as soon as they make the approach.
まあエイパーのとこもうちょっと選択肢あったんじゃないかなと思わなくもないでもそれはさ見えないところでの貢献度があるからさなんとも言えないんだよな
Everybody seemed to have been above, or
Might have been
indeed,
Jax.
yeah. As,
After getting the
Red Light
kill,
just said.
tucked in, hit the hatch. Rotates underneath.
俺もシークレットもうちょっと期待してた
Unfortunate though, you
マ
know,
ジで
you're
パ
trying
ッ
to
と
go
し
for
ね
the pre-fire on a player on the mirror window, and it was someone right underneath the crosshair
ねせっ
out
か
there.
くミラク
Didn't
ルと
see
フォー
it.
ルズ来たのにね
Miracle now in a 1v3, 19 seconds left. He's close to the side as he goes for a flashbang in. But
俺の2000ポイント怪しくなってきた
crossfire. Player inside a bathroom. There's someone up above the hatch. He needs to make a decision here, but no matter where he goes, it will most likely result in death. The time runs out. There's no more planting for him now. It's going to be another wild round to be put on the board.
ハングリーにキルは
They
回っ
knew
てこない
exactly
ね
where he was coming from. The
どう
intel
せ来
game's
年には
been
ファンタジ
great. The sort of response again, as I said, it's been
ファンタ
so
ジーでも
sharp
頑張ってたよね
from
今日見た
Wylde.
限りだと
They know that every
頑張って
single
ないのは
round is
ロ
one
ス
that
だ
they
よ
have
ロ
to
ス
dig their teeth into here and pushing themselves.
マイヤが全然
Hellers, that
爆発してな
forward
か
you
った
asked them to get
今日
might
ファンタジ
be
ーめちゃくちゃキルだったもん
first
2試合目だ
four
ったらどっ
of
ちか
this
忘れ
game
た
in
高層ビルの試合
a
か
row. It really has
E1
been
との試合
a
かな
dominating performance. Full 5 cats. Technically 10.
Cats.
2アシストがハングリーのやらさんもなかっ
Maybe
た
that's why they're playing best they have.
Their first game, they only had 2 cats on the backgrounds.
Yeah, it went from 2 to 3, and now
then they lost their games.
Yeah,
and
now
out
we're
of
up to
5.
full
ハングリーは
strength
キャッスル
cat.
固定なのか1回ミラー使ってた
Either
よ
2
2
or
回で
5. That's the
2回は
ideal
ミラーだ
ratio of cats, supposedly.
Or is it 4 or 10?
まあ20キルして負けることもあるな
Or is that a mirror?
I don't know. I would have to ask Sandbox.
We would have to ask Sandbox.
それはあることだからねしょうがないと思うけどチームそれ活かせないんだにはなるよね
Twitch chat, I'll let you fill in who that best analyst is. And also the green room. Ian Chambers,
そんな
if you hear me,
なんか
you
一
have
人が
to
大量
choose
キルして
right
る
now.
けど
Look
負け
them
てる
both
チーム
in
いっ
the
ぱい見てきたもん
Tell them which is the best analyst.
それよりも全員がまんべんなくやっぱキル取ってラウンド取れる方がやっぱりすごいチームだなって最近思うけどね
3-0 Wylde, and they are running Wylde a little bit.
それで言うとやっぱり CG がそこら辺が良くなったよねどうしてもブラックレーになんとかしてもらわないといけないっていう体制からアルクリとチビスがそこ取ってくれるようになったもんねその分スズシもアニツンも生きる余地ができてきたし
I mean, you close it off, like, you reinforce the tension because it forces them to open up. It's also like a free
キル
entryway
が
if
全
you
てじゃねえよ
don't.
マジで CG は
So, them using Selmas to open it up, that's
ス
good
タッツに現
utility
れな
they
いとこ
cannot
ろそれ
use
こそ
elsewhere.
得点だけじゃないサッ
And,
カーと同じように
I think with that, it achieved the goal of those
ディフェンスとか
reinforcements.
ゴールキーパーの評価
Not
も
quite
してあ
sure
げな
how
いとい
many
けない
fouls
じゃ
have used, just one. Teb taking a lot of damage from a grenade, still finds the headshot onto Groovy though.
んいやーそれはグルービー
But he lives, finds the kill in
もう
response,
一
and
回
again,
フラグで
Wylde
もよ
get
か
an
ったんじゃ
entry.
ねえか
It has been. Every single blow, every single entry has been one into
まあ
their
お願い
favor
ア
so
ルクリ
far.
は
They've
強い
kept
あるけ
that
ど
statistic.
それはチーム
It's
のスタイルだからねうわ手ぶ強っあれ
Unbelievable tear through.
ハングリーさんがキル取ったぞ
Hungry
みんな
gets Miracle on the back of this, and you know, I sort of said it at the start. We've had a couple of good gun game showings here, but it's generally just been aces that's come into this game positive. And then you're looking at all of the Wylde roster are massively showing up here.
Not great for them because it's the important game that determines whether or not you have to go through the open or if you manage to actually get yourself into those playoffs for a shot at a direct invitation towards Atlanta. And now 2 players stand on secret as they try and prevent this 4th round to go Wylde's way.
いやなんか囲
They
めてな
definitely
い
seem to
2
be
回
aware
を
of the fact that the CCTV and break is being taken as it is going to be 1 each. A 3v1 now falls. Last man standing has a diffuser in hand, but it's going to be having to attack 3 full health Wylde players all around that bottom floor. Long angles are being engaged in as well. So even if he drops into the site, he's going to be visible from so many directions, and the cameras out there spotting him is not going to be helping either because he then has to rethink the approach. He's getting some pings, but there's actually nobody there or not right on it. And all the sound he's making is just giving away the game that he's playing.
Well, suffered a bit of a scrape as he went for a rotate.
ハングリーさんの出番だぞこれはハングリーさんの出番だぞ
Workshop. There's a scrappy fight, but
ハングリーさん今のはハングリーさんファインプレーだで自分でキルしに行かずに味方の車線に入れるようないいキャラコンだったね
making sure that the whole map feels dangerous here, regardless of whether they've got a person in it or they have the angles towards it. Wylde
いや結局さ CG はアルクリーの1の動き止めれなかったからさ
unstoppably terrorizing force.
多分 B プラン考えてたと思うけど発動する機会少なかったと思うよ
The gun game, as I said at the sort of moment of Teb getting the swing round, has been so sharp. They are playing as this is a do or die game, and it really is told in the fact that they're 110%. Everything is just instantly getting responses to. Some of it is that little bit of extra special sauce that sometimes only happens in these do or die
こ
games.
こ下から勝負するところなのかなあドローンで見れた
and
から
then getting the kill on the back of it. Sometimes the
これはナイ
siege
スショットだね
goddesses and gods just smile upon you.
いや下がやっぱ不利だと思うけどな
Perfect muscle memory as well out there. Just
友さん的にコンメじゃ確定しスカーズ CG どれぐらい戦えそうですかまあ両方ともベスト8は結構いけると思うよ
Tab in his position as he's continuing to play out there feels very, very confident inside of CCTV.
それだけマジで日本の今年のねシーズン2のレベル高かったと思う
His deaths as
まあ
well.
それもこれもやっぱり春はバタバタしたじゃん 世界的にさ、インビ終わってすぐにもう新シーズン開幕だったから、
Now, Secret, you've
し
used
か
your
も
time
新
out.
しい今のフ
Nothing
ォー
left
マ
you
ッ
can
ト
do.
で
You can just wait until Wylde uses theirs, or you need to try and get it together in these
やっぱ
rounds.
夏
Because
ちゃんとトライアウトとか
Wylde,
し
they
た
need
り
to get
と
4
か
rounds
練
to
習
find
した
some
り
of
っ
that
ていう時間があっ
confidence
たから、
to get into the second half
明らかにチ
with
ーム
everything
全
they
体の
got.
実力が
They've
上が
got
って
those
たよ。
4 rounds already, and there's still 2 more to be gained. That means you need to deny them those rounds, otherwise this might be eyeing up
で
to another
も
Wylde
EU だ
7-0.
と恋とか、
That is how it works. Groovy finally
ブラジ
gets
ル
the
だと
opening
ロス
kill
とか、
there. Jags gets caught
時間
out,
あっ
but
た
there
は
is
ずなの
AC's
に、な
very
んかよくわ
quick
かんない完成度のチームがいて、全体的にレベル高くねえなみたいに見えてる事実はあ
that
ると
no
思うけど、
technical ground
日本は8チームともレベル高かったけどね。フナティックもまあ批判されるけど、RGI の時のレベルは結構高かったから、なんでそれが今回出せなかったのかマジでよくわかんない。
VP need at least 5 rounds against Koi to maintain first place.
Well, there you have it.
まあでもフィッシュライ君がインタビューで答えたけど、やっぱり結局 SSG しか倒してないので、倒してもう一回上に行きたいっ
Two
て言っ
blind
てたじゃん。
players as the Fnats are going to be causing some trouble out there. Savage will still find the kill. A double kill actually on the sides of Wylde, and suddenly it seems an opportunity is arising here. They might be able to pick up a round if it wasn't for Backbull to strike back
パックブルなぜ
instantly.
かもう一つディスラプターを置いてない謎の
Bull has a lot to do here around on the swing. The Beepers will give some of his position away, but he does have Tab not too far away for some modicum of support as Tab actually goes hunting, takes a big risk, gets one knocked one second.
よくカバーでき
The
た。
health of Falls and Upor though, both quite hurt. A
Yeah,
single
Epa
C4 well
こう割ってるから
placed in time could be the end.
Ah!
There's the drop onto
まあ一回起こせ、
Upor.
一回起こす
One
時間は
versus one. If they
全
go
然一
for
回
the
起こ
fight
す。
itself, they're not going to go for the pickup yet. They've pulled themselves back. There's the bait on the C4 tear. There's the
Ah!
pickup on the down player. Hits the beepers so they'll know they're
うまい
taking
な
a
やっぱり。
rotate. And then hops back round on the box. You will hear that as well, but he's not quite sure what side. They've gone all the way around to the right. Boom!
うわ、わざと音鳴らしてたんだこれ。
Manipulated the sight and the beepers and everything to his advantage out there to rotate around multiple times, retake
今の
those fights,
音鳴
and
ら
make
したのは
sure
下
that
に降り
Wylde
て
stay
8
unbeaten
壊
so
した
far
みたいな
here
感
on
じなのか
border.
な。
As we're 5
今のショットガン
0.
俺
Definitely the best start
逆
they could
に
hope for
壁
so
壊した
far
っていう
for
の
this
が分かる
game.
ようなショットガンになるから、
Again, everything to play for
あれ
here.
や
It is
らかしたんじゃねえと思ったんだけど、そう
final
じゃなかっ
spot in this group to go over to the playoffs, which could decide 2 of these teams to go over towards the major, and well, the losers will have to go down to either LCQs or right up to the open qualifiers. And that's not a game. That's not a route you want to go through, because it's just so many games you need to go over, and while really showing that they really want this to be their last.
What a game from Backball so far.
7-0 見えてきた
8-1.
ね。
And, you know, when he's playing that sort of
まさか
support
こんなに
structure
つまら
role,
ない
he's
戦
never
いになる
picking
と
the
は。
flashy gunner ups because
何もできてないんだよ
there's a
ね、
lot of
ぶっ
flashy gunners ahead of him.
ちゃ
He's
けシ
sort
ークレッ
of
トこの国
alongside
境
Hungry as that sturdy backline, but when you need him the
期待して
most,
たんだけど
what
な
a。performance
ぶっちゃけ何もできてないよ。エリア取りもできてないし、組み手も全然できてない。
for the second time throughout this split so far. And although they had the perfect run throughout groups, they are well aware
さっ
based
き
on
の
the
ラウンドが
map
唯
of
一なんと
groups
か
that
で
is
きてた
far
って
from
感
the
じだったけ
perfect
ど、
way to get themselves
それでもエリア取れ
into
てたわ
that
けじゃないからね
situation.
オフィスまでは取れてたけど、結局エリア現地に入りきれてなかったし、
Savage.
なんか閉まらないね。
Let's see if he can get another bit of luck. But again, you know, Secret, they're playing themselves every single round. We've seen almost more and more passive.
まあこれが前座試合で、
starting three
次の
bodies, heavily
G2 と
droned.
MNM が
Ted
本
goes
番よ。
down, caught through the soft. Begs might be able to get the pickup.
What is that?
Yeah, gets the pickup on the player. Upor slapped off the back
やられたの
end.
ジェグズ
Ted's able to slink their way away. Aces
あ
is
じゃ
on
あ
the
やっ
rotate
たの
round
ジェグ
to
ズ
maybe see if they can
ウーパー
try
やられ
and
て
get the pickup before the danger and the destruction comes. It's actually step in their support structure of Hungary
What?
gets them.
ジグズ
Just wanted to
全
make
く
sure that
起
that
こ
wall
す
was
気なく
closed. Most
ぶち抜い
importantly,
て
Ted will be held back
おい
up
ハングリー
after,
起
but
こしてやるよっ
it's
つっ
like,
て
you
た
can
ぞ
wait.
今
It's fine. Like we need this wall more than we need you at that point.
今おい俺は起こせねえからハングリー起こしてやるよっつ
by
っ
the
て
defense, of course, using
Hungry
the
走らせてた
evil
今
eye or the black eye, sorry, to try and get a pre-placed
いやもう
C4
これ
kill.
さ IQ
And
落
now
と
they've
されて
seen
る
that
からそうなる
CCTV
ぞ
and break have fallen. You might just have a real opportunity of finding a kill like that.
flashes come over. Jags has got himself that mirror window to get a little bit extra strength and wiggle room. There's also a Tab underneath hunting upwards, but Miracle goes for the drop to see if he can hunt right back. The glass breaking will give a bit of the game away. They're so close to a player. Savage finds hungry. Jags does get the end of Savage. Doing his best to hold on.
Hungry this scene
drawing some attention. There's an instant responsive pressure as Miracle gets Teb. You can see Wylde trying to retake ground. I said it a few rounds ago. They're making sure that everything feels uncomfortable. Miracle is forced further back. They don't want to give this body advantage back.
They have that top floor under control. They have a couple of breaching charges they can still use in fast to create some verticality. Which will be very important to try and limit the amount of defenders can play. Also, the diffuser is still in hand for Fall, so he might just be opening up as much as he can. There's a player out there, Miracle jumps right into Ace's line of sight. Luckily for Secret, two players are very low on HP, but it's not going too great forward on Files. Insight to sight now with that diffuser. It's going to be looking to eye up a potential plant spot. Where's the cover though? Yes, it is up above, but as Files gets off, he's hearing something. He's not sure if he can actually stick that plant. And it's the main stairs that's being held off by Groovy. But that means that there is a horizontal approach right through the actual workshop that's being taken right now. And the C4 will find Files instead.
Drone just inside the lip of the door there. You can see all three remaining Wylde players made the motion. They had the full audio read. They know where the player's coming from. Groovy's got one. There's one in front, one behind. No seconds left. Wylde. The second time this split. A flawless half.
And what a way would it be to start off your group stage and end in the same way? 7-0. Once they've struggled in those games in between against ITB. And of course against VP when they took a 7-0. It would be like a very big hit or miss. Like either you 7-0 or you 7-0 kind of deal.
I mean, you couldn't get more big hit or mishap, let's be honest.
I mean, the ITB game could have been a 7-0 or 0-7, you know?
It could have, but, you know, it's sort
まあ
of...
でもワイルドに関して言うとすごくバランスがいいですね。変なツッコミとかしてやられてる感じじゃないから、ラインはすごい綺麗に合ってる気がする。
Find themselves on 7 and find themselves with such a body deficit that they jumped from here towards the top of the group. It's almost two stories because on one hand you're like, great performance.
次が G2 と MNM で、それがグループステージ突破の決定戦だから見る。でも3試合目をね、BDS とウルブズかな。そこは1位決定戦だから、まあ見れる人はぜひ見てください。僕はちょっと明日見れる時に時間見て、YouTube に上げる方は後ろの2試合見とこう。ちなみに一番最後の試合はバータスプロ対恋で、まあもうなんか消化試合かなって感じ。
And this might ruin that humbling.
It might, but I feel that they're going to try and go for a quick plant attempt again. You see the Monty on the board. You see Packball with that diffuser. The Twitch drone getting some good information out here inside the actual office. A bit of an assassination out there. Sadly not able to get the Twitch drone out just in time.
まあハングリーは安定の 1-3 だけど、ペブは結構でもデスしてんな。
Yeah, the setup's coming across. Keeping hungry that room to enter, making sure he doesn't get blown up on the first step. So now tucked inside, Upor realizes, well, I can't quite get the cover of that. Gets the taste. Someone's there.
シークレットってさ、モンターに使える人いたっけ？今結構モンターに使える人いないと厳しいからね。うまっ。
Wylde getting a couple more connections. Jegs underneath. Ace is
シークレットね。エースどこで切ると
brings it a little bit closer to even, but Falls just sort of throwing a Hail Mary C4 there. There's no connection. Monty is alone currently, but both secret players are two. Jegs underneath. 2 kills via hatches. The last no grenade. If it ends like this,
終わった。
Jegs is confused. I mean, 2 7-0s and an 0-7 in a single split. Who else but Wylde?
嘘でしょ。
That round was
VP 見ねえよ。なんでだよ。今日恋だぞ。
そこ
で VP 勝って1位通過だ。
Because we're just like having drones, having information. I don't know what else to say. A
何
perfect
こ
game
の
from
試合
Wylde
俺ら
to
何見せられ
close
た
off their
の
group
はい
stages
結果
here, and that means they will be
結果終わります
bumping themselves up to a potential
俺たちのワイルドが勝利で
depending on how
す
the VP game will go.
I mean, what a performance from the team, especially obviously Jax and Packball, 19-2 between the pair.
いやでもこれがやっぱりさなんか競争力ないよねって感じちゃうんだよな競争力ないとは言わないけどやっぱ実力の拮抗がないんだよな日本みたいに日本はあれだけ実力が拮抗したから本当に全体のレベルグイグイ上がってる気がするんだよね結構防衛先にできる方が有利な気がするけど最後 MNM が確かマップ蹴ってたから G2 が選択権じゃない
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustache Mysteria. Oh no, it's Ian Chambers with a mustache. What up?
こそ俺も MNM が好きな気
Strikingly
がす
handsome
る
man.
Is that Ian Chambers from the radio?
おお G2 有利だねこれはだいぶ有利だね
Zoom in, close up.
さあ皆さんもかけてください
with Fabian, maybe not to the
お
his
現
level
在
of extreme belief,
G2 不利 MNM みんな MNM を信じてる
Fabian
まあ
has
MNM
lied
日
about
本
some
チームだ
things,
から
but one of the things that I think we've seen from this G2 team this split is that they can go
日
up
本は
very
時間に
well
厳しいから
in the
毎節
first half
短
of
め
the
なんだ
game.
よ
And the second half gets
まあでも俺
a
今ぐらいのテンポの方がやっぱ好きだけどな
Falling away
RGL ぐらいのやっぱポンポンポンと言ってくれる方がマジでいいと思う
Yeah, it's weird how that keeps happening, right? It's like I don't know what it is. I mean, we're not going to be talking about fatigue. It's just the best of one, right? Fatigue doesn't really get into play.
Oh,
for these players.
Montaba.
They're all
Magical.
used to be playing best of threes.
G2 も使うのにね比較的
So it's not that. It just might be that, you know,
おいいぞ
they
ギャン
start
ブ
off
ラー
well,
た
they
ちが
start on the preferred site, and then they just kind of get like left in the dark end, or they swap over to a site that requires that bit of a better team play rather than individual performance.
流れに逆らって逆割れ G2 いいよギャンブラーたちがブリッツバンあーこれは確かに G2 使うからね
Fantastic control on the second map. It was only 4-2 on their half, but it was really controllable on their attack.
シールドウォー
Things went a
ル
bit away from them, so they need to make sure they keep themselves a bit steady. And as Fresh said, their last showing on
めちゃめちゃ
Skyscraper
チャットでやり取りする
7 loss against Wolves. To be fair, Wolves are a terrifyingly good team at the minute. One of the other things, I think is a point obviously worth paying attention to, is well the performances of G2. You have
めっちゃ
Virtue
チャッ
and
トしてん
Doki
だ
that have been outstanding throughout the split so far. They're both sort of flying away in the kills game. But the rest of the team, you know, Benja and Alamau especially, they've sort of had big moments. But we haven't quite had that same dominating effect. Whereas, well, when these teams have met before, I think it was on a cafe where it ended up as a 7-0 to G2's favor. I think it was Alamau and Benja went about plus 11.
G2 も壁紙ばらついとるな揃える MNM も全然揃ってんねん揃える
for this stage. I believe it was like -6 in his KD so far. So
this is a strange start.
いやでもやっぱバレキリがバンできなくなってきたね枠的にフェンリルのやっぱり存在えぐいな多分今若干全世界での平均取ったらフェンリルの方が上なんじゃないかお G2 ベッドルームから行くんだ
To sort of bring yourself in, we have Sprabuni statistics. This is the last deciders team. G2 wins 6 rounds. They're good. G2 don't win 6 rounds. M&M.
Then M&M is
good. So M&M need a full fat win here. G2, they can get themselves some tasty overtime points.
12ラウンドで決めないとダメなんだよ MNM は
Just any point.
ポイント差的にね
for G2 comes down to that 2 points of a lead right now. So
さっき試合の頭で見たけどオーバータイム勝ちでもダメなんだってなんかネイフカメラ止まってるなんで左で話してんだろうと思ったかけ50-50マジで本当だすげえ神がかり的なちょっとだけ MNM が多いね
But Virtue and Alamau roaming on the opposite sides of the map. Actually, very heavy roam on the opposite side of the map. I'm not sure what's going on here, but there's only a single person currently on the site.
I mean,
if they rush this, there's no way they're holding this.
Good luck, Benja, is all I'll say. Uno isn't too far away, and, you know, M&M are taking their time. They're getting the feed above.
簡単に取らせたぞなんだこれ突き下げできるじゃん
Solosov wants to hold on to
どうするのこれ守り方
push themselves into Shrine and cut anyone off.
それとこれ以上エリア上げる必要ないんだけど このロックでいいぞ。
The first step in on the gunfight, as I said, where Virtue and Doki have been exceptional. Solitov, Nathan, users have all generally been pulling positives. Tyrant as well. There's only one player on MNM.
あ、これポイント外したのか。いやでも分かってるよな。突き下げできないんだよ。
MNM, of course, they know where the side is. They're just trying to cut off any rotates, I believe. Just make sure that the players that are out there on this side of the map will stay occupied and have an opportunity to rotate back.
突き下げができない。どうすんだ
Again,
こ
if
れ。
they would have gone for the site straight away, they might
これ
have
ポイ
been
ント
able
す
to
か
get
さ
the
れた
plan
か。
down before any
オ
G2
ペレーター
members
構
would
成が
be
突
able
き
to
下げ構成じゃない
respond
ぞ。
to them. Rotations are coming through, utilities being taken care of, and
これ G2 どう守る
MNM
の？
now
中に入れさ
slowly
せてプラン
starting
と
to
しても
head
OK って
towards
感
the
じなの
side.
か。
But yet everybody's still alive on the G2 side and slowly starting to creep back towards it as well.
It's almost a little sort of surprising and confusing. It's been played in the pace of their game. They're trying to make sure they're not just throwing themselves into a trap here because that is the guaranteed hold and take here. If you can spring a trap on a team, as we've seen before, then you can sort of define things. Watching the vertical, they know that the players above them, Ben just paying attention towards the window itself.
あ、違う。ニトロゼロが今
Just trying to get
EMP 止まってるわ。
communication. C4s have popped. Neither's found a victim. Tyrant's watching the rotate on one side. There's the player on the side.
いや、そうだよね。戻り抑えられるよ。
Alamao does get users. You can see two blue bodies pushing their way across. Uno keeps things locked down here, but Nello's going for the plant right tucked in the corner by the
プラント
bathroom.
できちゃった
They have the vertical back in their favor. They have the double kill now. There's the drop across the front, and it's just Virtue left. And well, he's trying his best to
来たぞ、
spread
ケツ
through.
吹き
He
バ
waits
チ
the party to stop the plant, and you know this whole round has a little bit of a question mark on it.
これ多分ね、ポイントをなんか5人させる策だと思う。マジで。
One person on the side.
ああ、ワニバニさんと同じ意見。拠点フェイクだと
This
思
is
う。
one where I'm sort of I would love to be next to Fabian.
いや、拠点フェイクで
Take heads off and be like,
BBQ かいつも通り茶室と芸者守ってる素振りを見せたんだけど、
what the G2
一回ソロトフが覗いたじゃん。あれで、あれボムねえぞってなって、で、あ、ベッドじゃんってなって、その時点でソロトフが思い切ってエントリーしてたから、あれ、俺らオフィスまで取れてるくねってなって、それで組み立てたら、実の思惑外されたって感じかな。多分拠点フェイクだと思う。
During that engagement, so all the time that it took, G2's plan, it might have worked, but you know, I think a lot of that hinged on it being the first round.
まあ。俺はこういうの嫌いじゃないよ。この大一番でこういうの仕掛けてくるG2嫌いじゃないよ。ただしかし、1ラウンド落としちゃったのは事実だねって感じ。いや、でもフェーズでこんなことやってなかったから、多分絶対アレマがやりたかったと思うけどね。
Alright, you know, we don't want to get taken for a bit of a run and a ride here, and to be fair, a couple of trades they almost were, but the gamble they don't think quite worked out here for MNM. Alamao wants to gamble the first fight, and I talked about how they can be super strong in the opening half, and Alamao was that super strong player. His best performance so far for the team throughout this split was that opening defensive half against BDS on Oregon.
アレマの部屋いいよね。抜けてるなんか道路が見えてるのがすごい素敵。
Again, very important matchup. All MNM need to do is make sure they close this in regulation and kick G2 down to
ラマーリョ監督はね、監督じゃねえよ。ラマーリョコーチはね、どっちかというと手堅い戦術敷いてくるイメージが強いけど。おお、強っ。よかったね、あれもそれ。ソロトフはあそこ勝ってくれないとっていうチームの戦い方ではあるからな。いや、でもタイラントがいいロックしてるわ。あれも絶対動くからな。
Losing the honor, losing the gadgetry, and almost losing Tyrant. Doki took a lot of damage in that.
いや、ドキがちゃんとクリアリングしてくれたね、今。
They have built for defense to work behind. They have a lot of impact and explosives. 3 C4s and another couple of impacts as well. They've gone sort of full in on that long range explosivity.
税金対策でセルビアに住んでる。え、あれも？
Just take a little connection here from Mozzie.
へえ、そうなんだ。 セルビアって治安結構なんか悪そうなイメージあるけど大丈夫なんだね。
There it is. You'll see the support, but Alamao gets Tyrant from behind. Ben just ready to take this next fight. And what a shred of Nello. 5-2. Nafe at least gets one back, but a minute on, and they still need to take
う
any
まっ
control. Great take.
ネーフのさ最近のエイムえぐいよ
Benji
な
going a bit aggressive there, hoping to find another kill to really see the favorite side of G2. But as he uses now finds Uno as
来た
well.
ぞユズスとネーフ
Might still go
HP 状
towards
況はちょっと
M&M.
G2 有利か
Doki
な
low on HP.
ドキが先にやられちゃったらね
Dragon statue now. That's
まあ
very
牙割りは残っ
difficult
て
to
るし
clear
な
a player behind it. There's many tight angles they can
でも
hold.
タクティカルクロスボウ2つ残ってんのか
Still with a C4 in hand.
ヒアが
Could always just still drop down below. Use that explosive later on if the plant's happening. So as the fire now comes true, it's M&M that need to find an opening.
あーでもこのラウン
Something they can
情報大
leverage
きい
just a
ぞ
little bit into an advantage. Also the diffuser still drops, so kills
ラ
are
ウンジの
going
情
to be the
報
name of
が
the game here.
You just gets one more. Doki
ある
goes down. It's all down to Virtue at this
でも
point.
これね殲滅しないといけないから
Throughout this split so far,
まあでも
can he make
バー
one
チ
more
は
for
分かっ
the
て
road?
ないからね
11 seconds. He has that to work with slightly. Swings on, gets the down onto one player. The single one versus one. Nate can't find
ケ
it.
ツ吹きバーチュー
Virtue
来た
tags another onto his tally. Keeps them balanced, but that was almost a meteoric pullback of that round from M&M.
That almost went back into their hands indeed. A 2v1 in the end, but that diffuser not being in their pockets hurted them there. They couldn't really just, you know, tuck in, go for a plant, hope for the best. There. They needed to split up. Divvy up their chances of finding that final player. Was Virtue unaware of the fact that the diffuser wasn't actually in their hand? Otherwise,
まあ今のはでも甘えたわけじゃないからな
final
別に
engagement when he got the down on one of those players.
人数優取ってるからあそこで勝負して決めに行こうっていうのは十分考えられるからな逆にこのネーフのスーパーショットがエグかっただけだと思うこれどう考えてもだって後打ちしてんじゃん先に球当たってるよねここディフューザーあったらまた判断変わっただろうな
A lot of SI points.
ああ先に肘見えてるわちゃんと
Of a fight at Atlanta, the major. Otherwise, even if they get into that situation, well, then their worst case is they'll go to the sort of last chance qualifiers. They don't have to play through the open, which again.
これを落としてたら天国のファビアもぶち切れてる
And you guarantee yourselves 50 SI points. I believe.
猫証拠さ
Around 30 to 50
初めておっしゃったありがとうございますノーセップの例の件ってどれですか
Actually around what a
何の
low
話です
level
か
finishes at a major. So that is a thing that both these teams have a lot of keen eyes on, especially as they already have quite a good amount under their belt. They don't need too many more to get themselves cemented in that list and in that setup for SR.
いやでもネイフが結構最近チーム救ってるね日本来た時もバカ強かったけどさ
basically almost set already for whatever is to come afterwards. It's just you kind of want to go to that major to really ensure yourselves of that qualification.
まあ3本通れればじゃない
Once we're the thing that maybe one of these teams will be missing out.
F ワード禁止は辛くないかファビアン実戻ろうぜまあコーチの劇の時は F ワード相当あったけど
Snape's coming in with the Bravo drone. Clutch drone trying to steal some utility.
ボルポスとセッチミねなんか今日荒れてた話をみんなから聞いたでもなんか配信見た限りそれは分かんなかったね SNS のそのやり合ってたこと聞かない限りは分かんなかった
As Uno goes for a jump out, it's going to be a fine. Yes, he does find
Solotov.
Twice in a row, Solotov's been the first body removed in 3 rounds. He hasn't been able to get anything at the back of the engagement. At least they caught the player there. Nafe, great reaction to sort of get down with the lockout. You know, there's only really one way out of that. Even if they want to try and run around, you are still stuck in a box.
キラバビは初日金玉とかやってたコペンハーゲンで挨拶スルーしたのが問題やったらしいですそうなんだ ファビアンもう G2 じゃないあれ G2 だ対談してるよね確かあそうだ実対談してる
Again, the diffuser is dropped on the opposite side of the map. There's no one from M&M near to recover it as they're trying to take over they're trying to take over that bottom floor, find any G2 players that could be useful to them. As Nave is getting pings out, they're going to be able to find a kill to Alamau, so it leaves the back stairs cleared out and gives them an opportunity to move on as Virtue there had no ID.
あそれラペで入ったのかいやそんなわけないよな
Once again, M&M have taken
これ現地なん下なんだよな
start of a losing hand and done quite well on the flop, and maybe the river might lead them to a little bit more. A winning pot here. Doki's holding off onto one angle. Benja as well. 2 big players we talked about before, and only one of them left. Benja has been a huge factor, was maybe the big factor in their taking.
うわー、やれなかった。
Yeah, just late to the party. 9 seconds. MNM still have to plant. Nafe has been on a tear.
なんかこれ MNM が勝つ気がしてきた。なぜかっていうと、なんかキルの時にフリーキル取れてるし、削り合いになった時に連キル取れてる。MNM の方が。
Just start moving towards it, forget about their flanks and get hit by those. MNM is playing and manipulating that map very well that way. But this might be costing G2 a lot more rounds than they are willing to give up.
ブラジルはエイムとともに煽り文化も提唱したから。
Well, they have to tidy it up a little bit.
昔からでも煽り散らかしてる。
They gotta make sure that they are just more prepared for where these MNM players are coming from. A bit of a lack of information really was there in that last round. Otherwise, Virtue wouldn't have
いやいや、ドキもエンターテイナーだからさ。
Basically karaoke the entire round.
ドキもやってくれるよ、多分。ワイルドと並ぶエンターテイナーで最近ちょっとちゃんと仕事してたけど。
Let's see if they can get a little bit more normalcy because
フェイズ君 BD に負けたの納得いかんかった。いやでも結構完敗だったよ、内容的には。いやでもね、正直 MNM の情報の捕まえ方がうまい気がするけどな。微妙に浮いてるところに入って分断してんだよね、さっきから。それで結構リスクの高い戦い方なんだけど、MNM 得意なんだよな、その戦い方が。で、危険なところに人数寄せてて、リスク追ってカバー、キル取られてもカバーできるようになってるっていう構造なんだよ。
Well, as we move on to the next.
まあ G2 はそんなに固く守るっていうスタンスじゃないからな。結構刈り取りに行くスタイルだからな、防衛でも。そのあたりはあるかもしれない、ね。彼らとなんかヒットテックみたいなの着てない。大丈夫なのかな、ユニフォーム着なくて。わあ、ボナカメラ壊せた。お、外仕事したぞ。嘘でしょ、それ。うわ、勝つんだ。さすがドキ強。今だって外出てさ、位置特定されて戻ってきたんだよ。それ勝っちゃうのえぐいわ。やっぱり刈り取りに行くでしょ。外に飛び出してさ、ディフューザーを落としてるからネロに対してアプローチできたってことでしょ、これ。まあ、これが G2 の守り方の特徴だと思うけどね。やっぱアグレッシブピークっていうか、アクティブなムービングで倒しに行くっていうか。They've lost one of that sort of two power duo. You still have Tyron and Solotov. Solotov finding his first, finally. Throughout this, on the fourth round, the player that you definitely want starts steaming into these engagements. まあそうだね、ベンジャーの分はだいぶドキがかばってる感じがするよね、キル面ではね。But there is a lot of this site that G2 can sort of set themselves up, hold and wait in. だから固く守るっていう卓がないから、でもアレマオがいたらそれできると思うんだけどね。屈指のスモーク使いだからな、アレマオ。
The drop came through. He knows that's going to be safe now and tries to go for swings, taking small amounts of damage that gives away his position. Alaman goes for the swing.
こういう当たりがうまいんだよ。
He's only up Tyrant now in a 1v4 situation to try and make sure that G2 is not getting a second round.
まあ動いてもいいと思うんだよね。
Looks like they just might.
駆け引きだと思う。緩急だと思う。
This is going to be very unlikely. He gets taken down by Doki.
これはドキのところで結構勝負がついた。ドキのところに打ち勝ってれば話変わってたけど、まああれはドキがうまいとしか言いようがない。まああと飛び出してくることに対する対策がいよいよ取れるんじゃない MNM は。
Trade them rounds. Back and forth. You okay, me, Josh. They know each other very well. These two teams. I mean, you have to remember if we're going to highlight G2's sort of round winning moment at SI or round winning or their performance, I think it was Turkey actually shouted out name on the big screen in the final.
この表現が正しいかどうかわかんないけど、派手な選択は取りがちだね、G2。まあ G2 っていうかアレマオのチームって感じだな。
All of these teams, you've got Wolves playing the best that they've ever played. You have BDS,
嫌いじゃないけど、俺は。
especially playing some of the best.
嫌いじゃないけど、 それをやりたいんであれば、今言ったように堅実な卓も取っとかないと揺さぶりができないんじゃねっていう感じかな。
But that's it, right? Like, one of these two is going to have to go through a very, very, very long route. Try and still get themselves to another spot.
Wolves did do it last time. Wolves were the team that were able to get themselves all the way routed rounds and
あれもが陽キャノリでベンジャーにガンガン絡んだりいじったりするから不調になった説。いやでもまあなんか単純にスランプなんじゃないかなっていう気がするけどね。ちょっと今までできたことができなくなったりとか、あまりにも調子良すぎて意味で自分はそうだと思い込んでたら少し調子が落ちた時にあれどうしたらいいんだったっけっていうのを思ってしまって考え込んでしまってるみたいなところあるかもしれない。生あれあれまでほぼ作戦考えても分かんない。もうウーノ来たからそんなこともないんじゃないかなと思うけど。だってヒロイクの時相当ウーノも考えてたと思う。結構ウーノヒロイク最後の集大成俺好きだったんだけどな。めちゃくちゃ綺麗なラインの引き方してたし。それが撤退で一変しちゃったからな。このソロトフの1の動きがやっぱりちょっと通用してないよね。MNM 結構シャイコみたいなことやらされてるんだ。あ、シャイコじゃねえな。リキみたいなことやらされてるのかな BDS で言うと。
Solots are very much aware if someone could potentially be around near him. He's underneath the site. This quickly clearing it out. Finds Doki but doesn't quite get the kill.
いやーこれはやりきれんかったね。
Continues rotating around. Impacts are being
上からのカバー
loses his life as Doki will finally respond though onto Solotov. So at least it's a 1-for-1 trade. But Doki took so much damage.
上は倒したけどだね。
And he's not going to be able to rotate back up to the side because
いやタイラーとのこの差し込み相変わらずうまいな。
い
や今みたいにさなんだろうな。やっぱ動くじゃん。結構情報取れてなくても大胆に動いてくるじゃん。あれが結構 G2 の特徴なんだよね。
Doki got the trade out the back of it, but even with that great reaction, they weren't quite able to save.
あ、ヒロイクのコーチ引退するらしいよ。
Stuck underneath 45 seconds. MNM, they have to try and drive their way past Shrine and Dragon here. Virtue's going to hold it out to the best of his ability. He's been able to do bits on this site before, but he's now the first point of pressure.
Benji goes down.
全く事実無根なんだけどさ、ずっとワニパニシがさ、ミスターオフィサーはパワハラ気質があるっぽく見えるっていう話をずっとしててさ、俺もそんな気がしてた。あいつはずっとパワハラだって言い続けちゃって本当にごめんねって感じ。全然そんな事実はありません。いいクロス。いやここは行くべきじゃないユーズス。そうだね。プラントが終わるまでロックしないとダメ。ピン立ってるけどな。さすがネロだね。今車線通らない位置でちゃんとプラントしてると。机の角みたいな。ヒロイック今 GO 強いからね。あら3本目取ったぞ。
It's looking very strong and solid for MNM here.
ネロの部屋もいい部屋だよね。
coming through, and they get one more opportunity to truly, well, solidify themselves as the winner of this first half. They've been looking better than G2 overall. They've been quick to respond. They've been able to cut up the rotations that G2 have
しながら目が笑ってないし、あの人来てから1日10マップスクリームの噂出てる。
So we're back towards kitchen and barbecue.
1日10マップスクリーム鬼だよ。
MNM again will have to take control of the top floor, but
で反省会とかしてたらどんだけ拘束されてんだよってぐらいの時間だから。ここ上で勝負してたよね、いうのがね。上見てたから平面に対するドッキの反応に遅れたんだけど、彼らとかよく差し込んでたね。ここすごかったな。いや、ここ持っていったアレマンもすごいんだけどさ、窓と割れ外からちゃんとクロスになってたよね、車線が。美しいクロス車線だった。ピョンシと気が合いそう。いやいやいやいや。ピョンシ全然パワハラじゃねえ。パックブルのハリー・ポッターみたいな部屋マジで好き。今日でもパックブルマジで強かったな。 パックさんはね、必ず何試合にかに1回ちゃんと活躍するからさ。ハングリーさんは1年に1回しか活躍しないから、やっぱそこで格付けが違うよね、やっぱね。
So far, again, they've been really good at capitalizing on the rotations that were being made by G2. Able to shut them down as they went, and you know, coming back from disadvantageous positions as well.
いやでもやっぱ海外の人広い部屋住んでるよな。
Give a little bit more of that. Put this into a 4-2 split.
東京にいるとマジで家攻めえなと思うわ。
Nave's opening up. There's a player near the house stairs. It's Doki rotating back up towards the top. Doesn't want to stick around on that side of the map too much. And as Geisha is being opened up.
いやでもハングリーはマジで今年いっぱいかもしれないからな。残ってほしいな、ワイルドに。
Now, as we said, you know,
いつまでも子供の心を忘れないでほしいよ、ワイルドたちには。
He was a phenom. He was untouchable. He's unfortunately not quite had that same effect, but as anyone does, when you go from
ムンク叫んださん、フォローありがとうございます。
Still very good, but good amongst a good team. It can eat at you because you know what you're capable of when the sort of cards are falling together, and here it's fighting at them even more.
Nice
they
hacking.
Found themselves only one
バレたかな。
attack last time round. G2 were playing on this map against Wolves' 4 solid defense. It was a 3 apiece half from their defenses. So
やっぱユーズスなんだよな。7-3。
having to go up
これシンプルにキッチンの窓か。
defenses, this could be a quick second half.
あとはソルトフの爆発にかかってる。
7-2 kind of victory that Fabian expected, just not for the team he was rooting for.
Yeah, MNM have already done better than Fabian's.
グループ A、ブラジルのグループ A ってもう抜け組とか変動しない。しかも3位フェーズ確定してる。確か。で、NIP とブラックドラゴンズが最終戦して1位かけてって感じ。2回は取れなかった。あ、これもう行くな。バーチョが上から見えんじゃないですか。
Users takes a lot of damage as well. They're trying to just strong
あれもいい読みだな、それ。
and wanted to move
わ、そ
over
れ。
the
あ、何で
vertical.
ショックしたの？
Solotov does get the swing onto Alamar, but with those two players still above,
忍者が分かってないのか
they
な。
have some good control.
うわ、強っ。
Oh, what a swing onto the first. Virtue gets the lockdown, and again, Virtue left in this do or die situation. The plant is going down. The player under the hatch will give
い
the
や、これも
call
忍者
on
の
where they
残
are.
したな。
So they're not going to take the
わざと
drop.
忍者のネイフ
Instead,
残し
try and
て
find a
ハ
new
ッチの情報を取らせ
angle.
た
This
ね
is
今
2
ね。
versus 1. Play with the time they have available to them.
プラントされるとちょっときついね、バーチュ。
Onto Barbecue will make a
で
lot
も
of
バーチュやっぱ
noise.
6の3だ
Player
ね。
just behind pops her head up. I don't know if Virtue
バ
saw
レ
it
マも KD 割ってないけ
or
ど
not. We had the guidance of outlines, and M&M have the
G2 の
guidance
トータ
of
ルの
the
成
two-round
績が
buffer here.
バーチュに寄ってるのがよくわか
42
る
on
ね。
their attacking half.
It's a dramatic half for G2 the way that they've been losing these picks. Every single time players are rotating, M&M was
G2 負けると俺のトクシックが年ばっかり勝ってくる。いや、だいぶこれ M&M 有利よ、状況的には。なんかライン、なんだろうな、カバーが取れないんだよな、G2。
Kitchen and barbecue is going to be that first site. We're not going to see the bedroom and bathroom to come up. Again, still questionable that round, but it's only one round in 6.
Day1 の BDS 戦すごい良かったんだけどね。G2。
Getting themselves ready. G2 haven't called a timeout
1回
yet,
スター
but
トなんだ
away
M&M
things
も
have been going, which means that this might still be en route for the
しかもね、多分出てくると思うんだけど、俺の予想ね。M&M ってさ、ネロがさ、クラッシュ切れるんだよ。それが強いんだよね。
In the history of their sort of head-to-heads versus M&M as well, which, you know, will
ビーグルは MIBR が圧勝したらリキッド最下位行きで合ってますかね。ああ、そうだね。ラウンド差つければ逆転かな、そこも。でもラウンド差つけたらワンチャン、あれじゃなかったっけ？ビボにもワンチャンだけどね。7-0とか7-1じゃないとダメだった気がするけど。血液膜で G2 が G2 になるって、お、なかなかいいじゃないか、それ。悪くないです。俺もエースやるんだ。あ、出た！ブリッツ。ブリッツじゃない、BB。今回ウノが使ってるね。前回ドキ使ってたよね。
bit of boon on a map that does work well with the defense, on a map that we saw G2 struggle in their attacks. They brought in Uno specifically for the late round execute calls, for those late sort of moments.
モンターニュかブリッツはタクとして持っとかないと俺もいけないと思うよ。だからスカーズも途中でやっぱ体力練習したもんね。ポイント2回じゃないんだよね。
The thing is, some players it seem to be working out really well for G2, and in others they.
いやこれ2回取るのに時間かかったら思うツボだぞ。
So far, this game seems to have been one of those where no matter what rotation they make, there's an MNM player always ready.
お、来た。
Finds the first kill to time.
刺さった。
It's a great start for G2 on that first attacking round. They need to strike back instantly. They cannot wait a round or two before they find their first.
いやファーストブラッド取られたのちょっとやだね。
Already gone MNM's way. Nay, fully flashed. 2, 3 times, maybe even.
Yeah,
still not really receiving any pressure though.
Stuck underneath, they're trying to break and sort of bite their way in. They've got that early body. The Blackbeard's back.
飛び出せないよな。
Window, but Usus gets rid of Virtue on the back end.
ああ、裏の爪を押さえたのユーズスが。お願いユーズスだぞこれ。
You poke and try and find a weak spot in the defense, but nothing's being handed.
なんか今
M&M are sort of keeping
カンチャーラムで
them
バレた
going all the way around. The first grenade.
カンチャーラム壊すフラグ投げたね。
Getting a bit of space. The second right down to the bottom of the stairs. They try and swing on the fight, but they cannot get that engagement. Nafe again still having a.
いや今みたいにさ、本当にベンジャーさ単独で仕掛けてるじゃん。しかも多分味方が情報を取ってくれて正確な位置取ってるとかじゃなくて一回打ち合ってあそこから打ち込まれたから決め打ちしようみたいな感じじゃないこれ。まずいですよ。G2 さんまずいですよこれ。
He has a face shield. Will help him out just a little bit, but that's going to be instantly afterwards, right through 2 bullets into the head, and Elamau to be removed shortly after as well.
いまいち何がやりたいのか分かんねえぞ。
Dominating G2
各
so
人の
far,
配置
even
が。
though you know those 2 rounds are still on the board. That round, nowhere to be seen. They didn't even get close to sight.
It was one of the things that was cited at the sort of beginning of the stretch in the stints. It was that M&M have the capability of being one of the best teams in the world.
まあタイムアウトだろうな。今の攻撃何一つ組み立てられなくてサードポイントも言えるキッチン取られちゃったもんな。
Great takes and holds. And yeah, there's memes about them maybe throwing when they're 5 versus 1s, 4 versus 1s, but they've learned, they've improved, and this is the sort of statement of that. They're so unified in their motions and their coordinations. Everything seems to have a really good element of control about it.
まあなんかその持ってきたものを一回捨ててこうしようはできるかもしれない。リリーさんフォローありがとうございます。多分もうあんまり全員が広がらずに俺は集まった方がいいかなって気がするな。人集めて、まあ今のさその BB も入ってたのがさ奇策っちゃ奇策じゃん。だからもうちょっと人集めてカバー取れるようにして。薄いところに当たりたいね。さっきの MNM のさ2回さ誰だっけユズスか誰かがさ太鼓から走っていった時にさ茶室カラオケの結構ラインが見えてさもうトライアングルぐらいでロックライン組めてたじゃん。あそこに当たるのは正直よっぽどパワーないときついからそれを考えたらそこが 2回が3だったら1回の浮いてるところを見つけて人数かけて当たるか、まあ、1回に行くぞって見せかけて3回を動かして薄くするみたいなことしないとダメだと思うけどね。
No one was there to find a reply to any of those players from G2. I believe there's something the desk mentioned that like they cannot just rely on individual plays. They need to work together as a team. They need to play with the same objective together.
あれはゴーサ持ってきたね。
What was the steady voice in that call and that timeout there? Is it going to be this? Maybe the double up drive.
結局このベンジャーが差し役だからな。1の7だぞベンジャー。
Onto the black stairs. They've got Doki for a bit of this cross support as well. The two big gunners.
ドキも入るんだ。
droned ahead.
ああ、2人で突き上げ係か。
Quick breaks. Vanilla doing their best to impact it and slowing down. There is a lot of sharpness, a lot of pace here in this initial approach from G2. 30 seconds in, and they're already opening up walls close towards the side.
ヒューズという盾を選択するのはカナディアンだけど。
Closer and closer as well. Nafe.
うお、今。
A big bout of pressure. He needs to make sure.
ネフ抜いたかと思った一瞬。
That, you know, he's sort of safe from an errant swing round. But again, look at this. G2's much more sort of driven idea as a team.
これでね、情報取ってフラグで突き上げるんじゃなくて、情報取らなくて突き上げるんで、情報取って突き上げたいよね。あれもラペリンか。
respond with this. They need
このドローンで
to
情報
try
取った
and
かな。
utilize this to their fullest capabilities here. See some rotations coming around from the G2 players as well. Benja hovering down below is getting some pings with drones. So far, things seem to be working together a little bit better. Doki finds Tyrant with a grenade. Benja is still in the process of picking one up as Nafe is looking to take the fight towards Doki. Instead, it's going to be Nafe.
惜しい、いけたと思ったけどな、今。
Gets picked up by Doki. So a 5-on-2, a good round for G2 so far.
Virtue suffers a big bit of damage. Doki's looking for the next grenade kill from underneath, and there's the ping on the player. Downs Nello. They might not know, but they did have pings, so you assume they've got some sense of confirmation there, leaving just Solotov in a 1 versus 5. The Oster is in.
完璧じゃない？
And well, what a response from attack.
今のはまずフラグで崩そうっていうタクだったね。
doesn't get any wider.
で、ちゃんと現地の情報もドローンで取って、フラグを無駄に使うんじゃなくて、確実に位置を取って突き上げる。まあ、早めにアレマオのラペリングロックが入ってたのが、MNM 取ってた誤算だったみたいなね。
And suddenly, it's just a completely different team. We see a very dominating round from G2 to come through. But they need to do that 3 times more if they want to get themselves in those playoffs. Alamau with the Amaru. Could, of course, still pick off. But for now, sticking it.
Amaru ピックしたって言ってんの。
Uno is the one that is carrying the diffuser, though, so we're not going to see like any quick plant attempt maybe happening. We could see Alamau potentially, you know, insert himself quickly into the building to clear out a part of it. Maybe to exert himself afterwards, but it seems like it is going to stick.
ベンジャー不調だね。
Never mind. Okay, last second, I say it and it happens.
Yep. I kind of want this to turn into a little bit more of a brawl.
おユーズ数10の4。
I don't say it's,
早いな。
you know, is a fan who
ソロトフがちょっとやっぱりね、だいぶ警戒されてるね。
I have both a G2 jersey and an M&M jersey that were gifts from the orgs. You know, you want both teams to succeed here, but you also want a fight because this is such a potentially important match. Right? This is a match where you want the best. Tyrant gets Alamau.
あれ
They'll lose that lion. There's the
まずいぞ。
Solotov getting Doki, even amongst the calls and
結構戦術核のあれも落ちちゃったぞこれ。
We move on to the next
アマルにはしなかったんだね。
site, the next map, and it seems that that sort of step up in pace without it needing
多分バリケード閉まって早めに建物階段取って相手のローテートを抑えたかったんだけど、うわ全部が噛み合わね
And they say, you want to do it flawless? We are still in the opening minute of this round.
G2 not allowed to enter the building whatsoever. Virch is going to be opening the door, gives away his position, drops down. It's going to be heard by those players out there. Called out as well, especially when he started opening up. And as Virtue is the last one standing, he's going to be waiting out. There's 100 seconds left on the clock. So if a quick restart is just Virtue trying to stall time here. I mean, he knows this is 99% of the time going to be unwinnable.
めちゃめちゃチャットで言い合ってる余裕がある。バーチューめっちゃ頑張ってんのに。
And the longer Virtue's alive, the less likely we'll have to be to stop the game. There's 5 players ahead of him. There's a minute 10. They know exactly where he is. Any other approach will make a lot of noise. Solotov's holding a sharp angle. And giving the Australian any sort of freebies here, though. Virtue, as I said a few rounds ago, you met this M&M half a year ago, you might have been able to pull off the 1 versus 5 because they had a horrible habit with them. This time they've definitely learned a lesson. The C4 gets most of Virtue. 45
there was an opportunity of clutching it. It's just almost gone down the drain by that nitro.
バーチューはこの戦い方をどう思ってるんだろうね。
1 HP. He's just going to be holding off. He's just looking to see if he can get any
明らかに
kills
バーチ
on
ューが孤
M&M
立
players
して
walking
るという
out.
か遅れるじゃん。
Second impact back on
遅れる
where
って
the
いうか
C4 came from.
バーチューはこういうシージやりたくないんじゃないかなと思うけどな。
This is just time to talk for the team. Because for those of you that don't know, if you have a technical rehost, which won't be the case, Uno has returned, you're not allowed to actually talk. So they could talk whilst they were waiting for Uno to come back. As soon as he joins the server, they end the round, they go on to the next.
なんか閉まらんの今日
The
の
round that will be
戦い。
deciding which
ウ
these
キ
two
ウキして
teams
第1戦
might
第
go
2戦見に
through,
来たんだ
because
けどなんか
if
閉まん
M&M
ない
win
ね。
this, game's over. They are the ones that are
これも
secured
決
themselves
まる
top
だろ
three.
う多分。
If G2 win this one, well, then they have 2 more to fight for to get themselves in that similar position.
It is spicy at this point for G2. They only have these opportunities ahead of them. They just need 3. They just need overtime. They can lose in overtime. At that point, it doesn't matter. They will
これが
still
やり
find
たいことなの
themselves
かね、ラマーリャ
locked
さん
in
の。
third place and save themselves having to do the
なんか
open here. M&M
奇策はもう通用しないんだよ、やっぱり。もう本当に自力でしっかり勝てる構造を作っての中にどう奇策持ち込むかだと思うから、CG だってそういうシフトチェンジやっぱしたもんね、ちゃんと再現性のある戦い方して。実は全ラウンド奇策持ってきてるけど、それはなんか試合で試すことじゃないっていうか、まあスクリームで調子良かったから持ってきてると作戦だと思うんだけど、別に技のレパートリー披露するわけじゃないからさ、競技陣。ゲームなんだから攻略は絶対あるのよ。そこを無視してなんか自分たちのやりたいことをパフォーマンスをしてるようにしか見えなくなってきたけどな、ここで天からのファビアンが G2 に助言して5練習します。ウーノに降り注ぐかもしれないです、ファビアンが高齢術使って。
It's also a sort of bit of a turnaround as well because, you know, last time that these two teams met was in the deciders where G2 pushed them down to the lower brackets. They had to win their game versus
なんだろうな、あれもやりたいことを補強するだけだったらラマーリョコーチも期待にマジでないと思うから、いやそんなことをやっても意味がないって言える人が来ないと意味が俺はないと思うんだよな。
We're giving you a worse return favor here. We're giving you so much more work to do to get up and still We said even if they win this,
ここのバーチの負担でかくない？バーチの前にドローン回ってる？あ、ウノを取ってくれた。
They still have a bit of fate in their favor. Solotov off first.
The previous one round started off as well, you know, just picking up that very first kill, and then the rest of G2 being able to find. That's a rappel rope, yeah. That's Nate just patiently waiting for it to come back up, but also realizing it might not be for a while. So he's just going to be digging in close on the corner. Now he knows that it's actually that rappel rope that went back up slightly, you know. Still trying to take a fight onto Knife.
ネイフだったらなんか持ってきそうな雰囲気あるな。マジでエイムが綺麗。
They'll need some of the support here to come through from Benja. Breaks across the back of drum. Doki gets into a very heated engagement, but
Yuzus
doesn't have a single bite on him to show for it.
もう一回いった。
Again, users are looking to go for an aggressive swing. Virtue finds a kill. Users
ここはバーチよく勝ってくれた。うまいヘッドラインのずらしだったね。でもネイフが世界を救う。つけなかった。
Virtue shuts him down. A huge rout from Virtue is keeping G2 alive in this game. 2 more to find if they want to qualify themselves for playoffs. So they're getting closer, but they cannot afford a single step anymore because then M&M is going to be taking the game.
コーチやるよりもストリーマーとかやった方がはるかに儲かるからさ、やんないでしょ。
Time out. M&M call a timeout. They want to make sure that they can keep their heads on it. They don't want to give G2 a single breath of getting themselves anywhere closer towards the end of this game. They have played this phenomenally so far. It's been a very good balanced hand, a very good strike through from M&M. It's also time for G2 to talk to.
Julioのタイムアウト。
Sort of use this moment to talk about where things went well. I mean, over the past
まあ5-6になる前に取るのも一つの手だから。
We've had 2 timeouts and 2 flawlesses. I guess it shows the weight of it all.
So that's it. No more tactical timeouts now. The thing is, G2 also had time to talk during that 45-second gap. It's not like it's just M&M that has the opportunity to discuss.
さあ決められるか。おお、もう一回行くんだ。
We will not know, I mean, what has been said by these coaches, by the teams themselves. But we'll see what the outcome will be. Just a couple minutes. Barbecue. It's going to be the site where M&M hope to
さっ
close
き
out
も
this
確か
game, where they
BBQ
hope
基地
to
になっ
find
たよ。
themselves in the playoffs.
バルキリー入れて
Looking
情報を
again
取りに行
to
くのか
find
な。
that early opener and capitalize on the back of that.
Push from the top. And they get this one final burst.
ファイランドショットガンだ
Improved
ね。
their
そうで
pace
す。
quite a lot over the past couple of rounds. One time it worked
結
very,
構
very
な
well.
工
One
事
time
要
it
員や。
worked the opposite. And that time, well, it sort of had a good bite. They got the opening 2 bodies, and then the leading onto the third was just winning that engagement where things might have started to piece away from them. It's this sort of return to drive, this return of respect of what Skyscraper is, which is a very big play space.
ユズスさ、なんか後ろにバーベルっぽいもん見えるの気のせいか。
There is a very close solace here. What's the house stairs? Bit of gadget juggling. Sometimes they happen. They start to try and force that player to make a decision. The solace has made one, and it's Tyrant. Oh, with the pull on the player on their drone and cameras.
いや、これイングレだったらワンチャン言ってたかもしれないな。
unchecked. They're pretty sure that they were.
Yeah, just trying to reposition yourself slightly. Still staying near to take the fight. Might be because he realizes he, might be just the back alone. Otherwise, there would be someone to follow up on it. Virtue actually has a spot. He has an idea on where the Solace is going to be at. Trying to go for a bit of a bait, but it's going to be Nave that takes a Tyrant to just come around the corner, find
これなんでさ、なんでバーチューが今情報取ってくれてたじゃん。
Really good position right now to
なん
close
で
out the game and find themselves in playoffs.
Tyrant, a real good dive there.
なんで今バーチュー情報取ってくれてたじゃん、逆エリアにいるよって。しかも間違いなく展示室から戻りやすい方向だったぞ、いたポジション。
A rocky time to run out of the right to that fight. Gets the call, gets the flash round. They have to try and make sure that the next pull on a player is one that is clean, but without any of the control on the vertical, without him out going for the dive across the top. It's so rocky without having somebody else to just offer you support, so they have to wait. Here, Virtue, getting everything
いやー、取れてるのこの茶室までだからな。
on the second story.
いや、芸者とかでガンガン打ち合う気満々だぞ、これ。
They drop the camera, they get the drop
う
on
お
the
い、
player.
バーチューなんでそれ勝てんの？
Falling through as well.
カメラ撃ってたじゃん。
Second there, as Virtue did not want to get caught out. A good first take.
結構あれもにかかってんな。
A little bit of a panicked one. 2 more. They've suddenly got themselves an
い
advantage.
や、こういう時動かないですよ。まあ普通のチームは動かないのよ。
He was in before he fell down.
普通のチームは情報をまず多分ブラックアイとかしっかり取って、見えてない部分での情報を予測に使ってると思うんだよな。ちょっと何が起きた？何かに反応しちゃったの、それと多分それ。それと打ちつけ。
Criticalities being made, some shots are being exchanged. Virtue is trying to
そ
find
こ打ち合うんだ。
connecting.
It's 2 versus 2.
メロも
20
強気や
seconds
な。
out of a little bit of a mistake. I'm
いや
sure
でも
they'll be kicking themselves for if this
上
goes a little
取られ
bit
てる
wrong.
とはい
But
え時間がないから
here,
な。
you have been handed a chance and a lifeline.
一
Uno
番これ
takes
見
the
れるの
drop.
か？
He's gonna miss all the shots onto the goo mine, but go for the plant anyway. 5 seconds on the cover. They've got the vertical cover on one side. Virtue's watching the right way, but Nello
うわー、ネロ！
back at M&M. Ah, your final team confirmed for deciders. Even with
ああ、なるほどね。今なんでソルトがあっち側からなんか迷わずに行ったのかと思ったら、ネロともうポラント位置が2箇所しかなかったから、あの場合って。ハッチ下の角と今プラントしていたポジしかないから、あの2箇所しかないんだよ。上にいたからさ。それを考えてダブルピークしに行こうとしたね。まあワンチャン窓側っていうの可能性もあるんだけど、窓側だった場合ってさ、プラントしてたら上からカバーできないのと、食料庫から車線が直線で通るからエリアに入らずにプランター倒せるから、やっぱ2箇所しかないね、プラントポジは。だから今迷わずにソルトフが食料庫回ってすんなりと、あれ上からの6個怖い位置なのに普通に行くんだなと思ったら、ネロとのダブルピークが成立してたからだね。というわけでここからはですね、実数は後ロックしておりまして、リアルタイムでね、ちょっと先の2試合見させてもらったので、ここからはさすがに寝ちゃったんで、ライブ配信なしで別録しておりますので、編集でちょっと調整させていただいてます。なんでコメント読みとかはないので、純粋に試合を一人で見ていきたいと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。ということで、ウルブズと BDS グループステージ1位をかけた対決という形となります。見ていきましょう。 カフェ、あら、カフェは BDS 得意なイメージあるけどね。どうなんでしょうか。準備フェーズしっかり飛ばしいの。まあこの辺りからいきますか。アルムズさんが狙ってますね。2回か。ああ、でも2回スタートでやっぱり1回と3回に出るの最近流行りだね。で、当たりどころを確認して、まあこういう白階段のエントリーとかを阻害して、まあ、やられないように引いていくとか、後で入り直して1階に入ってる相手を倒すみたいな主流だよね。ウルブズここまで完成度高いからな。ラウンド差つければ確かなんか BDS この試合1位通過になるんで、まあ、実際のところは結果知っちゃってるんだけどさ。
It is going to be today. However, whenever we're on cafe and BDS is on one side of the maps,
BDS 初戦で G2 負けちゃったけど尻上がりに調子上がってたもんな。あ、先頭こいたぞ。あ、上がベイトして、今練習がベイトしてたの。ヘイトコントロールしてました。あららららららら。結構簡単にいってます。P4 だけか。1分30秒で P4 だけか。まあ白階段とイーストの挟みしようとしたんだな。今 P4 イースト側から降りてきたもんね。
As I just said, as soon as BDS finds themselves on cafe, it's just a different beast that's awakening every single time.
掘削最近やるチーム増えたね。やっぱ3階がそれだけきついんだろうな。アザミがいてもきついんだろうな。素晴らしい。さすがです。シャイコーやね。シャイコのリジョンもいい加減ついからな。
Shiro, one of those two BDS players that hasn't quite been able to have a big impact so far, is going to try and keep himself in one of those places that first fall here for the Wamai. They're going to just keep things burnt, keep Bakery a bit more confrontational, some support there from a Eva barricade, and all the support you need from Shaiko, not too far away in coat check. Oh, now rotated actually, a bit further around.
まあ2回に対してはどう時間かけさせるんだろうね。シャイコがソリスなんで基本的には1回で、まあ、プラントとか見てって感じだと思うんだけど、2トルそれでも1個しかないんだね。
I was going to say, not everybody's on the site, rather, no one's on the site currently. Everybody is quite adjacent to it. Drops, yeah, finds himself in the freezer. Is going to be providing some extra security for the guys who's receiving that pressure from both the garage, but also you saw it just now from the restaurant window. Receiving some bullets from before doing some work, opening up above. Lems heading into a fight as Breed is about to be receiving a grenade, but doesn't quite bounce far enough. But that does let him know that he's being hunted right now.
Gets rid of a meat jammer, which might get them some control. We saw one stacked on either door. They want to try and hold them off and get them with true knowledge of what's inside that room. It's not the most impossible thing to get a shoulder and a shake on. However, it's been a lot of time that's been wasted here. The way that they've set themselves up with these deployed Kiva barricades, with that sort of hold around the site itself, it's meant that well, Wolves haven't been able to bite inside at all.
ちょっとエレムズやられたくないね。いやでも、
Mowgli wants to start knocking his way in. Minute on and well, they finally start being able to put some pressure here onto the site. It starts above.
構成的に一応スレッジいるからそうだよ。デッドショット来たよ。
Yeah, but still, like as soon as long as the VIP is still under control, you basically lose the entire wide side of the map. A lot of utility and time already was invested out there from the side of Wolves, and now they've just decided that they need to fall off. They cannot quite get through.
まあ一応広がってはいるけど。
To find themselves near that red staircase, Leak Effect takes a lot of damage as well as he rotates back towards that side. Big opening there is really helping P4 to see if he can maybe find a way in. But as Lems takes down Bibu, things again open up in favor of BDS.
It's 20 seconds left though. They need to start trying to get the execute going. There's another body that gets into their favor. They're trying to swing and back their way into the side. BDS have just fallen their way back inside the walls itself though. Wolves, they took way too long to get the full clear in. They're not able to get themselves cemented. And
ちょっとウルブズの攻めがいまいちどういう狙いだったかよくわからなかったな。
Demon that haunts them across all of the ground floor. They tried to hold on and get a catch. They did some scrapes to a Lems a couple times, but just
シャイコ4-0。 気がつけば
how many players
気がつけばキル取
were
ってるこの人。
outside the building or not quite paying attention to the site with only a minute left. As he said, they need to do a lot of steps, but well, here's the worst way for it to start. Shake
おー、あれれれれ、なんで
I was
今なんか位置分かっ
Shaiko
て
and
てアプローチしたっぽかったか
Shinko
ね、
both,
白
and he
階
got a
段。
double. Bride gets
シ
one
ャイコ
more,
がうま
and
かったとしか言いようがないの
it's
か。
the two factors that
まあ
come into
階段の
play
下の
is
踊り場のとこまで降りられると
they're
意外に上の方気にするか
and they
ら
need to try and get a win, and Wolves
視界に
are
入んないっていうのはよくあるけどな。
BDS.
ただそれにしてもだよ
It's
な。
two
なんかウルブ
different
ズ
teams, and
なんかあれだね、攻撃が
the
かなり
Lamb's
淡
getting
白だ
dead
ね。
shot.
何なんだろうこれ。
It's
何を狙ってるんだ。
a bit sad to see for the side of Wolves here.
Now from the
これは
balcony,
歯
he's
茎
not
で
going to
す。
catch P4
これはエレムズ
as
歯
he
茎
finds
で
himself
す。
2 kills for his efforts. Still going to be 3 more to be found. The player right behind
い
the
や、
cabinet.
上からも
Some
車
players
線
up
取られ
above
てて、
finding verticality
さ
as
すがに
well.
無理でしょこれ。
Sure, he has literally done
いや、ちょっ
nothing
とウ
in
ル
this
ブズ
game
マジで
yet.
何
Look
が
at
狙い
that,
たいんだ。
0-0-0-0. Gonna have his opportunity now potentially as Shaiko is looking to find himself his 7th
いや、シャ
kill.
イコいい読みだ
I mean,
な。
Shaiko's about to hit the reverse change
この
point.
読みの良さっていうか
He's been having
ピークの
such a
綺麗さっていうところが
sort of
シャイ
stage,
コだよな。
and it,
あんまりフリッ
I
ク
don't
とかまあ
understand
強いん
why
だ
there's
けど
debates
そ
about
こ
whether
ま
he's
で
one
フ
of
リ
the
ック
best
とかす
players
るイ
to
メー
ever
ジじゃない
touch
か
this
ら
game.
先に置いてて
Because
ぶち抜いてるイ
it
メー
is
ジなんです
not a
よ
Answer
debate.
is yes.
It's
Yeah.
just a fact.
で置いたところ必ず頭って
Such an unstoppable force, and there's a joy being able to sort of watch him play his game, unless you're playing against him. Renshiro gets
いや
his
マジでこれ
first.
ウルブズ何したいんだ。
I was going to say, so
えらい
after
淡白。
something, let's go for Renshiro because
この先の戦いに通してってことはないと思うんだよな。首位キープしといた方が来週に試合になるからな。
History.
これ次の日なんですよね、このグループステージ終わってすぐに。RGL とかは
The biggest
マッチアッ
game.
プ決まってトーナメント決まってノックアウトステージが翌週だったんで相手に対する対策みたいなとか一つまあ見どころして面白かったんだけどね。
But well, as the upside down repels come through, they're afraid of a run out to come through. Rightfully so. I mean, BDS, they seem like
こ
there's
こ
nothing
で
they can do wrong in
1 位
these
を
first
明け
two
渡
rounds.
す理由はマジでないんだ
As Wolves get
よな。
themselves prepped and ready to start taking that top floor under their own control.
2位
It's
になると
Liquefact
別
hiding
のブロッ
very
クの
patiently underneath the
2位に
hatch.
なると多分別のブロ
Gonna
ッ
hope
ク
and
の
see if there's someone overstaying,
1位だから
overstepping
バータス
a
プロ
little
とか
bit,
になる可能
not
性高いんだよ
droning
な。
out properly, so we can pick them up with a P90.
そう考えるとね、ここでバータスプロ引くのがどうかなと思
Oh,
うんだ
there's
けど、ああ
the
ちょっと
first
ずれ
big
たね
dead。shot gets in. Wants to swing into the second fight, removes the procs though as Alems
これ HP の
steps
硬
up
さが
not
生き
too
ました。
far away, but he's under a lot of pressure here. Do
明
they
ら
know
かに
about
リケ
his
の沖の方
position?
が
Can he get
強かった
one
けど、
before he
だから
gets
リケの
swamped?
ポジの方が強かった
Three
けど。
players on
ク
the
リアリング
hunt.
してなかった
Spray
し。
round towards the corner he was at. Bibu gets another, and he gives away some of his location
あー
by
これ先に
spraying some traces towards one.
あー
There it
先に
is.
白階段が降りたことによって
Wolves shown up.
ちょっとエレムズが見ないといけないところが多すぎたね。
Words of their coaches in their ear. Feeling and Helby have
ここはまあタイムアウト明けってことでもあったので思い切ってリケが当たったけどさすがに無理だったな。
Oh, flawless round to come
えらい
back.
早いなこの試合。
Shaku had an idea
なんか
where it
展
coming
開
from.
早
As
く
soon
な
as
い
he turned around, it was over
2分ぐらい
for
で
him.
各ラウンド決着ついてるイメー
It's
ジ
a
ある
good time.
どういうこっちゃ。
gunfight for these.
Slow down BDS's approach a little
Oh,
bit
good
if used properly. Stop them from taking the swings. You've got to get a bit of a heads up. Once those players, of course, are inside of the Grimbies. Slums is hunting for a drone. I'm not sure if he found it in the end. He's definitely getting his position reinforced up a little bit more. As Wolves seem to eye up a quick bakery take.
I mean, look at this, all the pressure coming through. As I said, Renshiro is
Oh,
in a
my.
dangerous spot. Does get a down.
いやそれは値
Picked
千
up by
金
the
よ。
end of Alems on the cover, but they get the kill onto Renshiro
まあワイメン
and
落ちた
try
の
and
痛い
take
部
the
分あるけ
territory.
ど
Will be
イン持
aggressive
ってくれば
behind it.
十
They
分
go
だ
for
ろ
a bit of a smash and grab, and it
あ
has to come through from Mowgli. Swings
So-
onto one, gets the down on the second. Would have seen the player go down, finds the next engagement as Bride and Shaiko do their best, and it's just
Brideが
good
強かっ
enough,
た。
but it's still technically a 3 versus 2. They're going for the pickup
ここ
on the
せそうだ
player.
ね。
There it is, Alems back on the beat, back with those Kiba barricades, and one instantly deployed, a second in pocket.
ああ
Shaiko
キババリア
was able
復
to
帰させられる
hold
の
on for a
でかい
little
な
bit.
これ。
A cheeky upside down repel on the door, sprayed through against them, but they've just done enough to stop Wolves progressing from the
結
bakery.
構キババリア残ったの
They
でかい
needed
ぞ。
to go
1枚展
aggressive
開で
Wolves.
きた
They
もん
did
な。
so in the start.
展開し直して
So
たもん。
weren't able to completely push on through with the advantage, but still put a big dent into the defense out there. They have some control they can play with. All they need now is to just take out one of these two flanks. Either the person that is behind the prep window or the person in Kojak to get themselves lined up to take a unilateral fight. Shaiko seems to be the approach he wanted to go for. He's rotating back up red. Wolves still trying to decide
いやこれシャイコがスモールベーカリーの窓打ち勝つかどうかだな。打ち勝った。7-1 です。シャイコさん。でもキババリアがあるから絶対スモールベーカリー展開できないんだろうこれ。うわキババリアが重すぎ。いやそこの裏にいない判定はできないよな。エルムズどうやって倒したの？あれ？まずいそこ重なってる。あインパクト EMP がないと。インパクト EMP じゃない。インパクトないと。あートラント1。キババリアが逆に利的に働いちゃったね。まあでもしょうがないんじゃんけどね。エレムズと特にあれだな、ブリでなんでやられたんだあれ。なんであそこまで接近気づかなかったんだ。そんなことで3対2か。まあまあ9大点ですね。
Last round, they brought the aggression, they found success. What about this time then? Bring more aggression, bring that shield.
2本取ったのか。
Try and go for a
まあさっき
clean
のラウ
pick
ン
through
ド
the
は
opener there. And suddenly you
結
have
構
the
しっかり
entire
ウルブ
half
ス
the
取った
map
もん
under
な。
your own command.
Mowgli trying to force the catch onto the player, trying to see if any support structures in the line. There it is. He said it was a quick clear and Beaver's made sure.
スマートグラスが遅かったか。
A couple of smokes. We hear some barricades popping. They might try and get
スマートグラス展開できてたら変わってたかもしれないね。 多分今つけた瞬間だったように見えたけどな。
The Blitz is a little bit lucky that EFAC's trying to be as secret as possible there as the pings come out towards Shaiko.
ビブブリッツうめえな。
Can sort of force the player. But if he can go untested here, if they think
いやーこのリケのハイドが
well, you can see them trying to get the pressure onto Bibu.
People already did his job though as that blitz, taking care that VIP was going to fall into their hands. Anything he gets from here is going to be a bonus for that blitz. Or does they want to make sure and make the
すごい入り口の塞ぎ方だ。
shield in their hands.
キババリアが重すぎる。あら？あーやっぱリケのハイド刺さったね。レートにシフトチェンジした時の先方をやってるとビブが落とされた。シャイコ2階に残ってて、これで上も取れない、上からの車線も厳しいだとレートから入れないぞ。ヒアが2個残ってるけどな。リケすげえ位置に置いてんなそれ。ショットガンではない。反応する気なのかそれは。うわギリギリで引いた。手荷物取れたね。あーでも赤貝まだ取られてんのか。今ので確実に足を落としたんだ。いいシュートも落とされた。よく持ってったなリケ。A bit of a blind or a bit of a back and forth. Shinka's going to hold on, see if he can get the plant as the motion comes round. They're not sure if there's a cover. They're not sure if they're going for the full send it. They're up. They're up. おおよかったシンカ。
The MVP of the roster
よかったね。
gets one more clutch added to his
これ 3-3 で折り返したんだこの試合。へえ。明らかな BDS スペースでウルブズ何やってんだって感じだったけど結構エリアを広く取らないね。局所取りだったね今もだって白階段から VIP 抜けてって感じだったよね。ブリッツでウォーデン落とせたからでカフェ1抑えてでまずは削ってみたいな。上取ることもなかったね。バレテーラなんかドローンで見たくせえな今。シンカどこでインチェしてる
？It was an idea, but Alems was prepped for it. If they didn't have that Alems position played well, then you'd probably lose someone. But you know, it's a good, keen bit of awareness.
さすがにリバイブは無理だからもうシンカが情報を取り続けるしかねえなこれ。
With the position that he's in. Oh, and Ranshiro. Take that onto Mowgli, who was doing his best to try and offer something back in, but it does just leave the two players inside.
結構 BDS の局所取りだね。カフェ1階側からしか落ちてないじゃん。バー側からしか落ちてない。シャイコの先置き。あらら。あらららら。なんかこの試合やたら終わるの早いね。一周回って読み切ってお互いになんか 切り合ってる感じだな
Now
これ。
there is no more
こんな試合展開なんだ。
a lot of the flat out.
Really confident in my just one of those rosters. He's another jump out. The deployment of those claymores will pretty much confirm it. They pull the Kali slightly further back.
お、カリだ。
Whereas the Kali could be really useful in holding off angles. All you need is just a
あれ、音が
tiny
漏れてない。
slip of the back
大丈夫。
and have an instant kill on the player
あら？
out there. Mowgli finds Lika
あー、やっぱ
Facto
飛
with
び
a
出され
big
た。
run out. Needs to find himself back into the site somehow
こ
though.
れ固定カメラがないから、
And
あ、固定カメラが残ってるから、
Also afraid of someone being
こっち側
down
に
below.
敵がいないっていうの分かったから
Seems like he's
堂
able
々
to
と飛び出
escape
したなこれ。
freely. No one there from BDS which was actively hunting
ク
him.
レーモアがないとかも分かってたかもね。
Yeah,
Just rotate.
I mean, I'll be honest, a bit of a surprise he
Ara?
was able to get all the way around there. You could see, look towards the places that might be the first catch. We saw the Kali not too far away.
Drone
One of the
壊れちゃったね。
positions he could have checked and was ready for the sort of run around there. So I guess they just sort of thought, nah, we don't need to go for this swing. Let's keep pushing. The Kali's now in on the top. The pressure onto the back end of the wall. Shaiko
わあ、
wants
広く入っ
the
ちゃう
player
こ
to have to
れ。
rotate round. Look how aggressive he is,
あ
but
ー、
it's
ナイス
punished.
ニトロ。
He thought he was in this sort of sneaky position, but instead,
シャイコと打ち合わなくてもキルは取れるんだよ
they're able to pull
な。
themselves back down to the site itself and go actually even further after Deadshot gets the clear that it's all clear. 3 versus 5 here.
And we have Deadshot in a good position. Has the opportunity to rotate up any
結構ゴリッといっ
staircase
て
that
る
is
な
necessary eventually. So really come down to where that push is happening from. And as he's coming up red, Yokai drone is being used again by P4 probably to spot out what is clear and what is not. We might actually see a double roam back
シュレ
up to
ッ
the
ト
top
そん
floor
な
to
いる
see
ように思えないけど。
if they can put a nail into the coffin for BDS in this round.
BDS, they have opportunities. They've been able to pull impossible situations and scenarios into their favor before, but time is
いやー、きつい
steadily
ね。
ticking, and that
読書
control
入
that
る
they
のは
have
相
to
当
keep
至
on
難
the
の技じゃ
vertical
ない
is something that is being actively
俺プラントできて
contested.
る。なん
Spawn is
で
being attempted. I'm not sure if there's an echo drone on the favor, but with Renshiro distracted by the first fight and dropping it to
う
Mowgli.
ん。お、マジカバー。で、あるが、さらにカバーの押し来ましたね。あー、やっぱそうだよね。
They set themselves up for a retake there and played it phenomenally.
Almost a flawless round to come through. Just Mowgli
まあ
that
序盤の
was
削りがきつ
rotating
かっ
up the
たな。
round stairs, got himself picked up.
2キル目で決着ついた感はあったな。実際に BDS が手止まったし。
They were successful with the run out on the last time round, so who knows?
It's a silent prep as well on that window, so if anybody was near already, no one would have heard. Lems again playing on that Kali, just holding a very tight angle. And I said it before, if someone walks by and you're quick enough on that trigger, it's an instant down. Not that that's why you're picking the operator. Of course, bring some utility as well. Basically an alternative to Thatcher. Look if that gets the very first into Thatcher, he's just unaware.
Cut the hold right in half. Last time they didn't really do any.
やっぱ
of
フ
the
リック
vertical
の
take,
強
and
さ
this
は
time he fact
シャイ
done
コ以
it
上だ。
single-handedly. What a kill onto P4. The P90 can't even fire as quick as they move. Alems with a Kali kill. Not the most common, but they'll take it. And they'll keep moving in. BDS with a slightly different approach. They missed the swing of one player, but they look prepped to take another flawless. There it is. 2 different takes, both on kitchen, both flawless for BDS.
ここは当たったところ全部取れたからな。
Sabibu struggle there. He's trying to find a head on the multi right over the shield. Rotation one. Shield is over that first floor, second floor. Lem's to be set down as well. It's all in preparation to make sure. Very careful there. Lem's just crawling underneath the window. Doesn't want to receive any stray gunshot towards his face.
カリだ。なんで彼持ってきてんだろう。
Just to get the second claymore
まあ
down.
EV ライブは壊しやすいかな
Pressure
一
over
に。
piano. Tight angles. Shield needs to try and get rid of that, but there's only one way, and that's to waste those ADSs and get a lance on it.
Mowgli's playing that dangerous game. I mean, this is the position, as I said, where, you know, they're trying to remove those ADSs. Let Shaiko get the pressure on the back end. He's just been so driven. That grenade over the top. You get the full cash. The blinds and the break. They're pulling themselves out of that position onto Pixel. They know how much pressure's coming their way, and they're just going to take the E1D pings because on the back of it, you can hear the thundering destruction towards that shield. EFAC's now going to White Window, cutting them off on the corridor. That bubble causing problems. The spray up Mowgli in such a dangerous place. Going for the jiggle peaks against the Kali, but how long can he survive there?
People down below actually found themselves into a fight. Shaiko gets the very first onto Mowgli, so that opens up a whole opportunity onto White. Leak Effect still holding a flank down below. He's waiting for the player to come back out. Bibu, whereas he's playing 2 floors below, there's nothing really he can do here with the Solace, so all Leak Effect needs to do is just hold the one exit that he has potentially working for him. Shinka goes down as well. It might have been by the Kali shot, as the Maestro no longer will be able to control the cams. Leak Effect finds Bibu as well, and it seems like BDS are going to be putting themselves up to a map point here.
There is a down, there is a swing towards the Kali, just that terrifying tracer that cuts across the side. They suffer a little bit more damage here. Deadshot is being pressured from all around. And it's another flawless, their third of
最後狩りでやったように見えて狩りじゃなかった。
BDS are pulling off here.
お、すげえ、8ダイブか。デンマートダイブか。
Well, I guess this round will decide who's taking the first seed then. Given the opportunity.
Virtus
Or maybe a 7-1, depending on how. I mean, we'll get to that when
we get to it. This is the round that connects the most, and BDS have such a good connection with this game. As you said, whether it's just playing very well, Richie and Lens have both seemed much more alive, much more engaged in this map than any of the previous ones this split so far. If BDS are slow to warm up to the phase, it will at least get them a little bit better sort of situated for the best of threes.
Explosive lance used on the bulletproof there is going to be cleared out. Instantly some long angles as well to follow up. It's going to be making it quite awkward to go back into the white hallway there for the Wolves players. Whereas the top floor is not the actual site, but it's often the very first step towards this site. It's Leak Effect already opening up from the train. He took some damage. He's looking to return the favor now, using that big DMR. Only need 2 shots to find a kill. Shaiko's getting stunned by the Yokais, instantly falling back, afraid that he might be hunted for it.
They're holding on with a caution to what is played, and it's EFAT that swings out, gets the first, instantly responded. There's the quick bite back from Shaiko across Zulu. And it's just body for body. Shaiko almost gets bodied himself, as Deadshot wants to try and retake up against the Kali, but it just takes a sliver to get that catch. The grenade through the hole doesn't quite get the take onto the reading room player, and Deadshot still holding onto the back of the mining site means they can't try and eke in a plant otherwise. Bibu, with the shaky grasp on the top floor, is going to find a fight sooner rather than later, but there's only one other player up here putting the pressure on, so it seems very much like they want to try and angle and eke their way in onto this reading wall. Deadshot by the Zulu swing, just sees the side of Iana.
Saved his life unknowingly there. Now still the fight, still looking to find a kill. A fight on the top will happen very soon though. As you see a player eking out, Shaika finds Deadshot. Is this going to be the end? This one's again going to fall as Shinka finds one. He needs to find a second, but the swap to his pistol is not fast in time. Bibu, the last man standing, gets taken down as well by the Kali. And BDS take the first seed in their group as they take down Wolves again.
The curse continues for Wolves, and they
なるほどね。これで BDS 最後にちょっと順位表を見るけど1位獲得したらしいんだよ。7-4でもいいけど、でも快勝だったね。でもなんか何なんだろうね。お互いなんか何か新しいことをやろうとしてうまく噛み合ってない感はあったけど。じゃあ次の試合いきますか。クラブハウスか。この試合がマジで消化試合なんだよね、正直。確かね、この時点でもバータスプロも首位確定だったと思うんだよな。
Then, of course, it's going to be bringing Ram. The Bugies will be opening up this long hallway, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be giving them quite a lot of verticality to play with here. The shotgun doing some work as well, and that's just making sure that he can do it safely. All pre-play C4s that could be out there will be destroyed. Not that there is any, but it's just that bit of safety you have. You otherwise have to use the sledge to open up. He still has 2 left, so no, I guess the kitchen is going to be falling victim to these buggies as well.
It keeps you safe from the C4s. There is still obviously the chance at a vertical fight there, but it's not going to be something that gets you caught the same way a Sledge or a Buck would otherwise be on the wrong side of. Deploy him, get him out of there.
最近ミラー最大に張るチームやっぱ増え
Really
た。
worth juggling the risk. 45 seconds though, and we do still need VP to actually put some pressure onto the heart. Dan goes down. As I said, the vertical is still going to be a danger. Picked up by the C4 of Deepak, loops against the bars of the floor there. Oh, with that break on the mirror window, not
祭壇
quite
バリバリ割れてるやん。
together. It's now
あ、
made
ミュー
a
ト
bit
も
of
バンディ
an
ットもな
awkward
しなんだ。
pass through. VP.
どういう守り方なんだろう
Really
こういう
been
は。
quick enough. Joystick needs to put the pressure onto
あ、
Blue.
なるほど。
Prime
勝負
shuts
するっていう
down.
守り方な
Any
の
of the
ね。
pressure coming from one
理
side.
解した。
Hosty is able to get another swing, and with Joystick now just getting the pinch onto one side. They're trying to pick up the back end as well. This looks like a bit of a flawless opener. Always the last swing stops it being a flawless, but can't do much more than that.
すげえ殴り倒してたけど。
Now,
さす
won't
が
be
に
able to do more than that. And, you know, looking back at the round, it's not going to be coming through.
Or the
In a hard breach to stop any trickery from going
まあ
on
で
when
も
you
バ
get
ー
to
タスプ
side.
ロも
It's just going to be a
悪
clean
く
opening, nothing
な
there
い
to
とは
stop
思うんだ
it.
けど、
Now they can start focusing
なんか
onto
世
the
界で勝つの
actual
は力強さがいまいちないんだよな。
the
レオンよ
grenade
く
as
言わ
well
れて
to
た。
follow through almost gets Leon there.
very well played
Look
there.
to
They
one
put the
out.
pressure immediately onto the follow through with it, and well, look at this. They pick themselves up entirely driving. As a
なん
team,
か
as a unit,
投
making
げ
sure
物
that
が
there's
重
more
要
of
な
that
この環
support.
境で
They
恋ってあんま
said
り投げ物に
on
対
the
して
desk
対
that
策
they
取らない
sort
よ
of play this old school classic bit of Siege, and well, as Ian and Fresh will attest to, Northern Soul and its classics is always a good drive for a good time, and it's having a bit of a good time here on the take across it. But they still need to force out these players. The ones holding onto CC and construction, the ones on the top of the fight. There's Deepak playing that support. As long as that castle wall's there, they're happy to play that position too. And Cryan and Hosty know that they're happy to fall back whenever they want to.
90 seconds left, and Koi, or right now, falling back from the CCTV area and from the cache area, which is now falling into the hands of VP, but that's still only step one. And Jigsaw, as he's still down below, has the opportunity to go for a late rotate if he finds
ニトリ
Joystick.
1個使ってんだ。
For now, it's going to be digging into the kitchen out here, holding tight, using verticality as an advantage on the hold. And VP, they need to recollect themselves. Okay, they got one part of the map, but now they still need a lot more than that. They need to get control of construction. With that, they need to find control of Logi before they can actually start pushing the site.
All the players still standing. The castle wall's falling, and Hosty getting the swing on the back. Dan gets dropped
Nice
and
shot.
almost baited into that.
まあ
By
悪い
the
ところ
timing
は
and the
全部悪いんじゃ
combination
ね
there,
え
one
か。
person was ready for that break, and it was not his teammate. Joystick swings, doesn't
うわハイド
know
してる。
about the touch player, gets all the way around. There's the pop-up behind the desk that does get caught out. It was Cryan playing a dangerous
Hide
game,
out
but in the 3 versus 3 with the window player
いつものかな。
covered by the chassis of the holographic, Leon keeps the body balance into their favor. Great swing from Pasha, but
shit.
Jigsaw just as the last bit to say.
ジグソー強えよなやっぱなうち。
Well done by Koi again. A decent
Really
round to come through. I think that we got speedy.
ま
あでもコインも LCQ あるからな。
Throughout
こ
this, it's
こら辺でしっかり
sort
と
of being
爆発踏んど
proven
きたいとこ
every
ろで。
single step, every single game. Now, when you have a
特
look at the
に
flip side,
立ち上がり
it was a
は
similar
明らかになん
statistic,
か
but
ジグソー来てから火
you
休ん
know,
じゃねっ
the
て思ったもん
momentum
な。
here of having zero
チームのや
pressure
り方の浸透
is
にだいぶ
always
時
a
間か
factor.
かっ
It's
てるなっ
always
ていう意
something
味だ
that
った
could
けど、
play in the head.
まあそれを差し引いてもちょっと調子悪すぎんだよな。コイさんは。
It's always worrying when a player just
It's like-
suspiciously stands in
Yeah,
place.
I think there's a new visual change where if they're wiggling, it has the legs do a full walk rather than like the shoulder shuffle it used to be, and it makes me just see people walking on the spot, which terrifies me.
A lot of damage being done to Always. Hosty in a very aggressive position as well. Near that main lobby door, gets spotted out by a drone, instantly falls back. He doesn't want to stick around and see what might come to find
ディ
him.
フューザー落としたわけじゃん。置い
But
てる
he's
だ
being
け。
tossed in towards the small steps. Not going to be able to find anything, but that means that VP have a good grasp on the bottom part of the garage. They just need to find the mezzanines right now. And as Leon is taking an aggressive fight, he's being fully flashed, basically
Blinded
locked
and
in
flashed
place.
over the top.
No moving
Pressure's
for him
starting
as
to come
Jake takes a
through
lot of
against
damage
Leon.
himself as well.
Doing his best to hold out as the Bees give some of his position away. There just needs to be the
おいって
follow-up.
蜂の中に
Gets joystick though. Buys themselves a second
あー
of
さ
space
すがに
to
フラ
pick
グ
up the kill. There's a second follow through there as Jigsaw's really fractured and pretty beat up and hurt by the back end of it. The break of the hold, they still have this pressure underneath, and obviously with Hosty being able to get the kill from it, it draws attention. It brings this idea of we've got to go and try and take that fight. We've got to make sure there's something on the end.
ガレージ2階でもダウンしなかったパッシャ
Yeah, Frostman
嘘でしょ
caught at the top of the stairs.
一番あるマットのやつ
Of course, can get himself out, but will be helped up as.
いや今のところでアプローチできなかったらちょっと辛いね
And I don't think there's anybody watching from below right now, except for Dan, who is still quite close. And that means that Hosty, once he gets the call, has the opportunity to go for the nitro cell. And that's exactly when the smoke canister will find Pasha from D-back. Hosty now activated as well to try and go for the roam, but he gets shot at, which means that he knows he's been spotted, and that means he's occupying a single player right now.
20 seconds left, a 3 versus 3, and always gets the grenade and goes for the plant itself. Dan picks up the vertical. They got to try and make some motions here. They swing for the fight outside, but it's well covered. A 3 versus 1. Jigsaw could not get the connection in time with post plant here, and it's a very tricky one to try and bite back in. Always pops around and cementing himself a couple of kills, and the plant itself. VP finally activate themselves to get the round.
Again, that tertiary site, CCTV cache, is that site where they need to
やっ
find
と
those
1本
victories.
かなんか一周回ってクラブハウス苦手になったチーム多いよな苦手っていうか
It's nice for them. to
キレ
reach
が
out
ないって言った方が
and
正
ask
解
for
かな
help.
っていうチーム多いイメ
A
ー
lot
ジ
of
が
people have suffered scrapes so far as well. Seems like that heat in the early opening game is starting to kick on a little bit more.
オールウェイズのマウスパッドなんか
So, as Crying and
絵描く
Jigsaw
用の
looking to
キ
be
ャンパス
very
の
aggressive
スケッ
up
チ
the
ブッ
main
ク
stairs, they
キャンパ
have
ス
been droned out.
なんかよくあるよ
Trying
な
to take
オレ
care
ン
of
ジ色
those
の
drones and fall back instantly
スケッチブック
afterwards.
といえ
Not
ば
quite sure if they had succeeded in that particular drone. Joystick very afraid that someone might be climbing up the oil pit staircase, so or ladder rather. It's going to be
ジョイさん
pushing
今日押さ
over
られて
a drone just to make sure there's that flank watch going on the boogie. In the
ジョイさ
meantime,
ん
as
がなん
well,
かシンプル
going
に
to be
突破やっ
opening
てん
the
な
entire kitchen hallway there.
ダンさん
Again,
ラム好き
usually
疑
this is
惑
done by Sledge or a Buck, but it's just a lot more safe to do it with that
危ない
boogie.
あそこ横引っかかるんだ
Having
よ
to be there
な
yourself in that distance.
There's a
今
swing
EMP 投げて
from,
ニトロセルティの迎撃警戒してたね
in the perspective on all that the boogie opened. Last time Dan actually suffered through the vertical on the back
Boogie,
end of it.
boogie.
This time maybe not so much.
あ今ブラックアイちゃんと見てたのか
The Vault cam.
あら
Not all of them though. The other gets the read
こ
onto the
の
hatch and it
ブラ
means
ックアイいい
Brian
ね
can maybe
俺も
try
使お
and
う
play a C4. I actually ripped it, but I guess that's the one spot of
ステージ
intel
側からだね1回の
that they weren't able
ほ
to
ぼ
get.
カウンターとビリヤードの入り口あた
And
り
also the Valkyrie camera in the bar telling them that there's no one currently on motorcycle hatch. Well, that can mean only one thing, Emmy. Is going to be a push on the kit on the armory side of things, and you know that could be coming through dirt, as you currently see Pasha moving in first, but also the kitchen hatch where they saw people move into. So they're going to be very aware of the push that's going to be coming down from Virtus Pro here on the side of Koi. So all they need to do now is just hold off long enough to make sure that plan doesn't come in.
わあすごい
Here
に
come
や
the
み合い
flashes around the corner. The swing moves on. Dan's able to get Deepak, and the first body is theirs, but Leon quickly responds. There's 28 seconds, and the pressure is still on. BP
いやよくトンネルから押し入ったのそれ
2 holding on to the fire. Pasha wants to hold on to F as well and get that kit planted as Hosty and Cry are doing their best to bite. They have some vertical cover.
ピン立ってるからな
If they can get themselves round towards blue, they could really cut this in half. They don't quite know about where that final position is. Shepard has the pick onto the corridor player, leaving just Hosty. Slow rotate, the catch on the Fenrir will reveal at least one's position. It's a very awkward retake here because they still need to have 2 stories engagement. Great
ホ
first
スティ
body.
調子いいなこの試合
28 seconds to try and bait out the second. They're gonna just
arm.
crouch behind the box, long arm, and hope that they can get there in time. You've got to make a move here. You've got to get there in time. Hosty just holds it.
I was gonna say he could just dig
ちょ
himself
っとプラン
behind
トの
the
位置が
boxes,
ね
and if there's
あの
nobody
祭壇側
actively
から
watching
の
that, there is
車
that
線を気にしないとい
verticality
け
you
ない
can
位置で
use
の
there.
プラントだったから、まあ、しょうがないんだよなこれな
And Koi, they still managed to win that.
シェパードはまあ1回解除をやめる読みだったんだけど当てが外
The
れたね
replicator actually spotted Jigsaw out there. I knew it was the activator shortly afterwards. Oh, he's all the way down below, so I think he's gonna unspot it. I don't think they know about his existence
な
right
んかエラ
now.
がちょいちょい増えてるんだよ
That means that this drone being put into a flank watch position is going to be very important for the side of Virtus.pro as they start attacking, because the last thing you want is as soon as you're about to knock onto the doors of the sides is someone to come into the back of you.
Ryan's waiting for this approach. They've got a much more direct line here to CC. They're trying to get themselves up and under, and you can see Cryan as a sniff of the pressure, but they've also got the pings onto the player tucked around the corner. It's Jigsaw who's suffering the first bit, but Cryan pops up from behind and gets that cover and support for them. They're able to catch out Virtus.pro. Escape by Leon with a very prolonged fight outside. Has another player come for the level of support, and what a great read on what was attempted. Always gets one more on the back of it, but they just seem to step ahead.
Very aggressive there from Koi, sending two people outside to make sure that they secure those kills. Now in a man advantage, a minute 10 left on the clock. A lot of utility still to be taken care of by Virtus.pro, starting off with the mirror window, which I believe started to pop just now. I was wondering if it was actually popping, but yes, mirror window should be open, but Crying still below. Holding the rotation. As soon as they jump in from the rotation, they're going to be picked up. So Pasha opening this up completely needs to be wise and actually use that one. Or he's going to be losing his life.
Deepak wants the attention to come from the pings on the door that's still being read to them. It seems like this intel game is just something that is always out of the hand and pocket of Virtus.pro. They don't seem to know just how much Koi knows, and they can get an advantage on this next gunfight. If they can push themselves into a 4 versus 2 with only 20 seconds, you are pretty confident the rest of the round will fall into their favor. Wants to be the start on the break of the door. The C4 is taken quite quickly. There's pre-fires and pre-aims and angles towards it. Wings a bit too far. Deepak goes so close. Somehow gets the drop either side, and Koi playing with a merriment that befits a team in their position. 4-1.
バタスプロタイムアウト。もうでもなんか攻撃になんかまとまりはあるけど、タイミングが恋に対して脅威になってないみたいな感じかな。
He's looking for drones. He has two of these, anti-drone screens up there. It's going to be making sure that there's no information going to be given with these observation walkers. That's just the player walking by. Was it the Gemini? I believe it was the Gemini replicator.
確かにガレージ2階ってガレージ1階とかにドローン置いといて、ここにいるよ、ちょっと顔出した時にここにいるよみたいな確認するから、それ用の防弾ブロッカーの防弾ブロッカーじゃない、偵察ブロッカー、防弾ブロッカーめちゃめちゃいいやん。それ単なる展開型シールドやんけ。でも多分そうだね、この入り口から見たりとか、このガレージ2階の下の空間の部分にドローンを置いて、音とかでこの辺にいそうみたいな。
It's a process. They're more than happy to take their time on, apparently.
Just gonna make sure it opens up safely. You do not want to lose someone on opening up that wall. And if it takes 10 seconds longer, well, it takes 10 seconds longer. Leon just drops down from the skylight. Leon gets himself a kill. Dan drops right after as well by the hands of Jigsaw. And VP got surprised by two more aggressive plays here.
Joystick, making sure that nobody gets caught in the same trap that they had before. A take onto Deepak. Tears through the hole. The second one allows Pasha to really move their way up. They don't have the exothermic to smash through this wall, so it'll be a hop or a potential rotate. And there's the hop in the motion, and they're now going for the plant. The goo mine will buy them a little bit of extra idea of what's going on for the take. There's the bit of damage, the break, the attempts to spray over the top, but it's not enough to stop it. Cryan moves in, goes for the fight onto the rappel, can't get it, can't get the follow through. Jigsaw does find Shepard. And Hosty is able to get one on the back of it, leaving just Joystick below. Now he has the grenades to maybe play against this. He's going to hope that they're going for the plant. Gives the game away where he is, and there's Hosty to pick it up. And it is a 5-1 half for Koi.
1-5なの？レオンが来てるのってあれ恋のアパレルなの？
Is here. Damn. It's also kind of for VP. You need to see a unified attack. We cannot see Koi players going one by one. As the castle barricades are being opened up, it's the slowdown that was being put in place by VP that's quickly destroyed. As the hatches open up, some are left soft, some have been reinforced.
さっさと終わる予
Doing
定
a lot
が
of work very quickly here. And I'm not sure if they have a lot of pre-placed drones, but it seems like they're not worrying at all about a potential roamer being around.
If Koi can get their foot in here, if they can try and carry some of that momentum over, I mean, it would be another sort of game where nobody really expected it to go the way it has. I don't think anyone expected it to be this 5-1 half here, but a bit of a break they're doing two to try and bait out impact. There are the chance of those being thrown in. There's still two in the pocket of Joystick, but he's not quite in the position to fight back against them because they also have this wall to contend on. Jigsaw's holding and hoping. Nobody expects him to be in that position that early.
いやこの試合の俺展開じゃないな結果も知ってんだけどこっからあのスコアに行くんだへえ
Not sure if Leon gets actually spotted Joystick out there as he's out and about on a bit of a
決め
roam.
ちゃいそうなもんだけどねこういう
Could be really devastating to Koi's attack here. Drone's still driving around. Have they seen him? They're still hunting. Definitely feels like they know of something because Crine is watching that top floor. He's watching one of the exits as an impact comes in. Joystick deals a little bit of damage, but he takes him as well.
Brian wants to get the lead in here, hits the procs and realizes he just sort of kind of deep dive behind it. The flashes come out, always in Jigsaw, find one apiece, all in a sort of threaded fight there. Crine gets the back end of always though. The risk and the surprise was worth it. He gets another! A huge connection there from Cryan, leaving just two VP players left. Leon's going for the plant itself. They have some safety. It's just Pasha left. There's suddenly two kills threaded. But with Leon getting the kit down, Pasha's got a lot to bite back in. They've got one player stuck just in on the corner of the hard wall. They didn't know about Koi. They are up 6-1.
クラインクソ喜んでんな
Get
まあでも LCK に繋がる内容にはしたいよなこういうとしては
that VP will have to worry about on the CCTV side of things. Deepak is waiting for any help so he can start opening up the construction wall, if that's what they're coming over with the Dokkaebi. Impact's EMP will be tossed as soon as they figure out where the actual claw is.
That's a sneaky one, and not one that they've been able to find. And they're not going to double down, they're not going to risk it. It's an awkward place to root out and a very good place to deploy one. Now there are obviously ways to get rid of it. You could roll the grenade if you desperately wanted from the hatch on the opposite end if you're feeling very confident.
Oh. Now Jigsaw's waiting very patiently here. He knows about a player that's inside a gym, but just wants the player to dig in deep next to the actual window. He starts moving himself, is going to be taking care of the mute jammer. Now they definitely know about the player that's down there. Jigsaw is just holding off, just waiting at where the rotation supposedly is. Still the electric claw they need to find though. It is pinked up top, so that should be a free opening for the side of Koi.
They're going to roll the grenade through, try and get anyone that might be trying to play against it. There's breaches on either side, and they'll pop off just to give them the angle, but
oh no,
the claw is always going to reactivate. They'd only got the one pocket EMP to use after the missed one previously.
And that's it. They only had one left, and it took a while before they actually got their heart breach on, and you know they didn't wait for Deepak either. A grenade will eventually take it out though, so it means that they can still open up, but putting down an extra thermic on what is left of this wall is going to be very dangerous. They need to make sure there's no one watching on the opposite side of things. Especially looking through a mirror window, of course, not really in danger. The grenade from Jigsaw is going to be making sure no one's inside the bathroom. The wall will open up, and they have themselves an opportunity to push through now with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Jigsaw creeping their way up. Played a surprise game before, but the player is crouched under. Might be the first to get the swing round. There's only 15 seconds, and well, they have a body advantage, but you still got to try and put the pressure on and get the plant. The swing comes round, it's Jigsaw's to take. What? Tears the head off of the touch player. There's one more round on the corner, and they can't quite react fast enough, and VP light up when they have that time advantage. Crying all that's left. They just didn't have enough time, Koi, to push that fight.
Behind the bar.
To dispatch teams before, and they have such a good lead, you assume. Even though they are open, but Hosty takes a lot of.
なんかね、
Yes, you might be
遅
opening
い
up without being present to see
こ
fours.
ういうの
But
攻め
if
が
anybody walks past afterwards, there's all down. Otherwise, you give the Cade an opportunity to just juggle those Electro Claws around.
最初のキル起こるところま
And
で
that's
巻き
one hatch
戻し
open up for
飛ばしてもいい
Koi.
か
Still be looking to open up the others as well.
めちゃくちゃ時間かかってんのよで違う方針決まってないのもう右往左往してんじゃん
Yeah, but it's been electrified as well. So
ほら
need a
プ
bit
ラ
of
ン
extra
潰されて右往
utility
左
out
往して
there.
る
They
よね
need those EMP impacts from Hosty.
だってレオンがさ8割はいいじゃんね
You can see now as the floor continues to fall, Jigsaw and Leon have got themselves tucked in, and Jigsaw's trying to find the fight on the back of it. Just sprays through the opening line. The catch on the goo mine and the catch on the two players' back end. Boy have suffered, but
Nice shot,
Jigsaw at least
ジグソー
gets the
強い
take
ね
there.
こうやって
There's
改めて見ると
nowhere really safe
EU
in,
だ
but
から
this
とか
pressure
な
on
いわ
that grenade will not quite
うわ
get
す
the
ご
full
いシェ
bite
パード
onto
動かな
Shep,
い
but
よ
he
それ
just braves it out. Takes half damage for the trouble. See the Virtus Pro just sort of sticking around.
位置
and
分かってるけ
with
ど
Deepak
ブルーの
above
カ
the
バーがあるから
hatch,
抜けないよ
the
な
cross angle watched by Dan. Koi have hit a bit of a brick wall on the approach. Big rotation. Deepak wants to offer some support to the two players who are working in some slight tandem. There's still a tuck onto blue. There's a crouch round on the back. As soon as he steps too
Blue の
far,
確証
you
ないよね
assume
そ
the
れ
blue player is going to go for the swing here.
ジョイ
But
スティック
15
どのタイミングで
seconds,
ピークしようとして
four
る
players to fight through. Doesn't really
あ
look
ー
like
もう
a
来る
go
ところずっ
around.
と待ってたのか
Now, Hosty last man standing is going to try and salvage it, but 6 seconds left. 4 players still
い
around.
やめちゃめちゃ時間かかってるや
It's
ん
going to be a Virtus Pro round, meaning
Time
only
up.
2 more to find themselves secure. Onto over.
Yeah, this-
With the
early, but if he can go untested with these grenades, suddenly you might have a bit more of a definition to this round.
Jigsaw still holding as the openings are being
いや
made in
も
the
し
other walls.
レオンがチ
Interesting
ー
way
ム
to
全
hold it.
体を動かしてる
Openings
っ
are
て
being
いう
made in
構
the
図が
different
変わらない
walls
んだっ
that
た
might
ら
matter
レオン
later
の思考が
on.
止まったらマジでチー
Leon
ム止まる
getting
な
back towards the main breach. He has that diffuser. Of course, he's going to be trying to either digging close towards the breach, or he's going to run behind the server stack. Dando will find Hosty, a great first pick that will actually slow down any potential push that might come on the back of it. Leon gets taken down as well, which means the diffuser now stuck on the ground. Jigsaw will find almost
Oh,
Pasha with
ちょうど入
that
るかと思ったけ
grenade.
ど
He just steps away in time. It seems like Koi is falling apart completely on this round. They haven't been able to enter the building properly. They made all the breaches happen, but besides that, nothing that they could get done to maybe try and get this plan happen.
おいロシアンサイボーグたちがお前
What
と
a
ビッグノ
round
ーズしねえ
for
ぞ
things to fall away from them. Said it was an important one for them to cement. Said it was an important one for them to get over that mental hurdle.
停滞しそう
Hey, what
This BDS
ideas?
これもうやっぱそうなったんだなんか何なんだろうね
The mirror windows are being set up. I love that frost mat down there. By the way, as soon as you make a rotation in it,
あ
jump
さっ
away.
きちらっと出てたのはこれでラウンドリファレ
They
ンス
might
の
have a
関係
feeling
で
like
も
they
も
can
う
take it.
バ
You
ータ
might
スプロ
actually
が
catch
1位
someone
確
off
定で
with
すみ
that
たいなの出てたかもしれない
frost mat down there.
You got
But
Wylde
of
on
course,
there.
if we see another grenade follow up right after they open it up, that's just going to get destroyed.
A quick break and attention paid to it, and time was a factor. And this time, they're being much more decisive about the breaks onto those hard breach. Much more attention paid towards the objective, towards the focus on getting the things that slowed them down massively before. Obviously, they didn't get construction all open last time round, which does limit some of the catching you can do on the players on the CC side. It means that they can sort of have the fallback on construction at least a little bit safer if, you know, the wall is still standing, maybe even break. But here, no messing, no fussing. Boy has done that first objective.
I don't think they've seen the frost mat, Emmy, when they droned the bathroom. Now, I'm not sure if it got destroyed by the Selmas. I don't think it did. And that means when Leon Gids might want to go for a hot dash through, and he steps a little bit to the left, he might get himself caught off, and with that, the diffuser drops. So that's something to keep in mind for the late part of this round. Jigsaw's trying to find something with grenades. Is he going to find anyone? No, Shepard just delayed and actually stepping into it. His delay and looking through the hatch actually saved his life down there. Second one to be used. He's not going to be finding anything either. Leon Gids is right next to the wall. If he just jumps over, he might be picked up, but I believe he is the next one to open it up. And with that, also the frost mat destroyed.
情報取って
50 seconds. The longer this
分か
time
ってる
it
エルの
takes,
フ
the
ラグ
more
は
and
ほ
more
とんどだ
worried
か
you
ら
get a bit
ね
here, but they took a risk and it's almost paid off. Pasha gets the end of it. Koi, they went for a bit of a dive right towards the sort of setup on the door of the site itself. Hosty gets caught out by always, and 30 seconds now. The time is halved since I was last concerned, and we only get more and more. The grenade will go a bit too deep. Cryin wants the fight, and Deepek's going to go for the cover. Joystick and Cryin get one apiece. The swing round and Cryin does the bits, but the kit is no longer being planted. Cryin stuck in a 2 versus 1. They've pulled themselves as close as they can. There's a fight to his left. He doesn't quite see it in time, but they miss the shots, and VP get there. Ace.
声決めれねえのこれもしかして。
The edge.
これで決めれないんだ。
Get the victory now. Deepek aware of the fact there's someone near the main stairs means he might be a bit cautious with throwing the boogie in. Or this could easily be counted off if a impact gets used or someone shoots off the red canister on the back of it. This time the IQ is going to be able to spot out some of those Valkyrie cameras, which might be useful for the side of Koi. You want to deny as much information as you can towards your opponent. Ooh, Pasha.
Oh, Pasha 今日13キル。
He's looking to go a little bit naughty there if Leon Gibbs is going to be taking a window approach.
Still waiting. Still hoping they can get a catch. It's not the most expected player. The impact, they waited as long as possible to get another second. Deepek's head isn't too far away. Pasha has a chance to get one more. He's hoping that they assume the players moved out and that they can get them as soon as they move through. There's the next break. Unfortunately, not being gifted on it. The patience of Koi at least pays off to save their life from that, which might have put them in the worst tailspin at the end of this game.
なんか時間かかってんだよな。
15 left.
ここまでは
working with
ある程度
that
スムー
electronic
ズにいくん
sensor
だけ
here
ど。
to spot out those
やっぱなんか決めきれてない感じしないこの右往左往
just to
感。
make sure that there's no information in the hands of Virtus Pro to use in that post plant. Bugis are going off as well to
こ
open
こ
up
も
as
さ、
much
とりあえず、まあ、
verticality
壊
as
した方が当
possible,
然いいんだけ
giving
ど、
the
そんな
upper
なんか
edge
並
to
行
the
作業で
attacking team that's just
オレ
looking
ン
to
ジ
go for
の
a plant
シルエットが
quickly.
動いてるように見え
It
ねえんだよ。
seems like it might be coming down for another triple wall approach as the
そのあ
Salmons
たり
are
が
coming through.
LCQ に
The
向け
tricks
た
of
課
the
題なの
bandit
か
are
もしれない。
there as well. How many will Shepard get? I believe there's just one set of the Selmas and a big opening will be made in the remaining walls.
Shepard's still setting himself up quite aggressively because he knows that he's got always on the swing for some cover and support, and they've only got 30 seconds. Things are going to get a little bit do or die, and Desperate as always plays against it. Shepard does find that first fight onto the first player that drops, always goes down though, but Dan gets Leon. Technically, a 3 versus 4, but with Hosty able to get one more and Cryin going for a bit of a deep dive, there is the down player and get the pick back up on it. It's a 3 versus 3, but they're stuck in the corner. That's 10 seconds. It's overtime from a 6.
That sing
あそこからオーバータイム来るのこの内容で
They know
マジか。マジっすか。
They know the job is done, but they still want to go out
いや、
with
なんか
another
攻
victory
撃
in
が
their pockets as well. They're fighting for that.
迷うし、
And as Joystick goes down, that's a
決
great
めきれ
start
ね
for
えし。
Koi.
it's a necessary start for Koi. They're able to get rid of the player on the rafters. They're able to get
いや
the
なんか
breach
方
open as
針
well.
明
It
確に
was,
決められ
you
て
know,
ないように見えんだよな、動き
they
見てると。
got some of that done last time, but otherwise, everything was sort of out of their reach. They can push this over the edge. They can get back to their defense where they had the 5-1 half. Might be able to find the end of it. Cryin tentatively steps in and steps up along the side of rafters. They're about to hit him. Goo mines. Don't fall for them,
2 回
but
入れ
Dan
たのって
almost
顔
falls
じゃないこ
next.
れ。
And it's on the opposite side of the map as well. Grenades are starting to roll through, but I believe that one was just
いや、今の
undercooked
フ
as
ラ
it
グもも
bounced
っ
back
たいない
down.
ね。
They didn't do
だ
a
いぶ荒
single
くな
point
り
of
そうだね、今。
damage.
使いが入ってんのかっていう
Themselves
のが
ready.
分
It is
か
the
ったよ。
diffuser that's being handed over towards Hosty here.
Flag
He is the one that
大事よ。
needs to try and make that plant happen in about 10, 20 seconds from now. A grenade gets tossed over, might not actually find a player right behind this. Pasha finds
お、素晴らし
Jigsaw.
い。
They keep on trading now between these two teams.
They want to see if they can try and just sneak this plant in. Pasha has 2 more
いや、
canisters and
神戸が
always a
一本取れないと
C4 and
一輪だな。
not too far out of reach. That's what the grenades are trying to get rid of. And once again,
さっきからめちゃくちゃ奥に投げ
look
す
at
ぎてる。
Dan on the backside. He's going up round the back. Always gets the C4. Dan gets the flank.
だが間に合った。
Onto Cryin round the stairs. Leon's able to bite their way in, but now he goes down, leaving just Deepek left. There's a bulletproof that's been giving the game away that finally gets dropped and rocked. The impacts are coming from underneath to try and get the finish onto Leon. The ping's out on the player. They're playing the vertical. They know exactly where they are. Deepek gets the kill through it. And with 10 seconds left with the swing round, the shotgun gets both! Passion
一発で2人
lose out again.
一発で2
From
人
6 to 1.
逆転マッチポイント。これ何連続で取られた ?6-2 からか。
Crash. It's rough.
うわこれリアルタイムに見てたら地獄だね。ここテックイシュー入ってんの絶望じゃん。
Unified as state is the
up towards the top. Will he be followed by Hosty?
でもまだスープロも5時だったよね前半。攻撃取れてないから課題は出たね LCQ に向けて。まあでもどこまでバータスプロに関しては真面目にやってるかっていうとあれだけど、ほぼラウンド変な落とし方しない限りは1位確定だったと思うんで、さっきラウンドスコア出たけどそんなラウンドになるとまあ 7-0 とか 7-2 で負けるってことは世界大会であってもまあ EU ではまずないからなバータスプロ。
Getting the reveal. What is around them? The pull on the intel, as I said, it was something that seemed to work quite well in Koi's favor before against the approach here of VP. They're definitely a bit more attuned than aware of it, but there's still the fight down towards the site. Leon wants to take a risk. Moves up into the empty space. A big engagement goes away from them, and the second almost does as well. Chases and gets the down onto Hosty. A grenade could be the sorting factor, and there's the roll. It should just be out of range. A second is about to come down though. This one cooked. No, they think better of it. And Jigsaw, he wants to go for the pick back up. He knows the pressure is not far away. The drone is watching. The bees as well. There's such a statement of intent. That one rolls down. There's the cover and the drop. They cement the kill. 5 to 3. The risk went away from them, but there's still
今のカワンハイブマジで強えな。
Still an
絶対リバイブい
opportunity
けない
to
もん
get a
な。
breach. And break
面
the
白
kitchen
い。
hatch. It's a big statement of intent. There's a lot of noise and awareness. I'm not sure if that was an impact. No, it wasn't. There was nothing to try and catch and stop that. Just the impact of the hatch being blown open itself. They know about the players here on the back end. Jigsaw's taking a lot of damage, clearing drones with it.
でも時間見方してくれてる。残り
They
20秒。
bleed their way in towards the site. The bees and the blinds push them further and further back. Always does get knocked, but Dan gets the pick on the opposite end. Joystick pushes it just down to Jigsaw. The new Aussie pickup, the Wonder Boy that can do so much, has so much to do, and he can't. Virtus Pro with a massive comeback.
いやでも課題残ったぞ。まあでもどこまで見せてるからなバータスプロが。作戦一切見せずに自力で勝とうぜみたいな展開には見えなくもなかったからな。いやでも恋はもう全然だね。攻撃がマジでもう迷いに迷ってさ右に左に行ってんじゃん全員が。まあでも時間あるから立て直しはできるだろうな。というわけでちょっと駆け足で後ろ2試合見ましたが最後順位表見ましょうかね。はいというわけでバータスプロちょっとラウンドリファレンスで危なかったけど結果2ポイント追加で1位通過で2位がワイルドで3位が ITB ですね。でシークレットと恋が脱落でシークレットはねこの日マジで意味が分かんなかったな。でもなんか先に感想言わせてもらうとなんか全体的に4試合とも結構微妙だったなこの日。最終日とは思えないぐらい微妙さだったな。 RGL があれだけね他のチームとの差がない中でのねノックアウトステージもあったと考えると何なんだろうね噛み合わなかっただけなのかな。ちょっとノックアウトステージ期待したいね。で BDS よく返り咲きましたね。1位通過本当にちょうど1位通過だねこれ 7-4 で勝ててでウルブズが2位で3位に MNM と。G2 はどうすんだろうね。だいぶ微妙なことやってたけどねこの MNM 戦はマジでなんか奇策ばっか持ってきて全部空振ってた感じだったな。でヒロイクは残念ですねというところでノックアウトステージがこちらとなります。 MNM と Wylde 勝てば BDS とウルブズと ITB 勝てばバータスプロという形になりますという状況でございます。というわけで1回戦がまず行われて次の週にメジャーかけた戦いをやるって感じかな。 EU はね3位決定戦までしっかりやって3位がフェーズ1からで、グランドファイナルに行った2チームがフェーズ2からっていう感じだからね。ちょっとどこが上がってくるか。まあワイルドとか ITB とかに来てもらってねメジャー荒らしてほしいけど、まあ BDS は行ってほしいな。BDS も CAG と同じ立場でベスト8ぐらいまで行かないと意味の道開かないと思うから、それは分かってるから気合入ってるっぽく見えるけどね。はい、というわけで今回はちょっとイレギュラー的な2試合ライブ配信で2試合後配信という形でまとめさせていただきました。結構ねこの全試合総チェック好評なので嬉しいです。よかったらチャンネル登録グッドボタンのほどよろしくお願いします。それではまた次のレインボーシックスシージのトップリーグの動画でお会いしましょう。ではでは。